right, welcome to the Grown Up Show. Where being a grown up is always up for debate. My name is Danny Barros, alongside my longtime buddy Anthony Hall.
What's up?
Not much, man. We long overdue, but we made it to episode 14.
Yeah, we finally had to take our first little week break.
Call it a
Unplanned.
vacation, you know.
Yeah, unplanned.
Staycation.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, man, to really be honest, I'm surprised it took us this long. I mean, we've had to make some adjustments with our recording dates and things like that, and then we had that one YouTube issue where the processing didn't go through until Saturday morning. But this is the first time we actually had to skip a week, and I mean, it's obviously for good reason.
No, I mean the West Coast has just literally been on fire for weeks at a time, and it's been affecting. You can't. I mean, if you live in California, Oregon, or Washington, it's like you have been affected by this in one way, shape, or form. You know, and on top of it, you're dealing with a pandemic, and probably homeschooling your kids and working from home, and you name it. It's life has not been normal nor easy. And borderline, trying to find some joy in that too, So it's been really difficult.
Yeah, stressful. Especially over the last couple of weeks of the fires. It's fascinating how I'm all the way up in Portland, Oregon. You're in California Bay Area, California, San Francisco Bay Area, whatever you want to call it. And we're literally dealing with the exact same thing. When it comes to fire. It's just fascinating. It just goes to show like how real it is on the West Coast.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
So,
and I mean, things are still burning, and to think about it, like we're still technically on alert because typically we don't see fires, really until like October, things like that. But
it's funny for us up here. I was just gonna say it's funny for us up here because we're like literally praying for rain, which is something you never hear of when you're talking about the Pacific Northwest.
I know they usually just want to break from it, right?
Yeah, it's usually the opposite where it's like, God, can we just get some fucking sun? And here we're all like, everyone's like, please rain, please rain. So luckily, it looks like tomorrow, which again, like we've said before, we record on Wednesday, release on Friday. So right when we say tomorrow, I'm talking about Thursday. It's supposed to rain here, which will hugely help because I mean the fires are still going. They've simmered down, but they're still, I mean, threatening a lot of areas. I mean, the reason why we had to cancel last week was because of me, actually, more so than you. My house, I was never in threat yet. It was closer than I've ever been before. But the issue is, so I live in the north west side of Portland, and I have a lot of coworkers that live in Happy Valley, which is just past the southeast side of Portland. Beautiful place, but they were like, I had one friend who she actually got in. It's like tiered, right? So it's like green is like start getting ready to go.
Right. Yeah.
Yellow is like, green is like start thinking about what you need, where you're gonna go, things like that. Yellow is like start packing, and then red is, get the F out. So she hit yellow. And she just went over to another friend's who's in Happy Valley, but a little bit farther. And then I had other friends that are also in Happy Valley that they were like getting ready to go, and they were going to come actually stay with us. And then my other friends were, if it got past, so my one friend, she went to another friend's house. If it got to that far into Happy Valley, they were going to come too. So it was just, we had to cancel just to prep for having a couple families staying with us. We, I mean, for us in our actual house here, it's just all we dealt with was the smoke, which honestly was brutal. Like I went to Safeway on Saturday, and I got home, and for over half the rest of the day, like I was just hacking the entire time.
Oh, I know.
And I wore my mask and everything, but I'm not wearing like the air filter.
Yeah, you're
mask.
just wearing the face covering rather than like
so which helps a little bit, but it's not
particulate mask.
Yeah, when you're dealing with like smoke and stuff, you need like a air filtered mask. Not like the little, just covering, making sure you're not coughing in someone's face.
That's when you really need like the N95s and stuff like that, because they're made to filter particulates, not just, anything else. But
so
and then with all the smoke and stuff, you get all that ash and all that stuff in the air. And
like it was pretty wild. Like seeing, we had some ash here, which is just crazy to show. Like we're in it. We never even got really near that green line. Like it started to get to that point where we're watching the map, and it's like, because it would have to go through Portland to get to us.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I mean, dense city like that it would never happen. But we did
Yeah.
have some smaller fires on our side. Luckily, they just never got big enough to be worried about. But it was like,
Right.
they just start popping up everywhere. So, but yeah, we still, the ash falling is just kind of funky.
Oh, it's
Just wild
crazy.
to see, dude. Like you just don't.
It's crazy just to see how far it travels. I mean, like here in Pacifica, like you're much closer to an actual fire than I was.
Mhm.
And I mean, my cars are covered with ash,
Yeah,
like the ground's covered with ash here.
yeah,
Like we had that wild day last week on Wednesday, as a matter of fact, where the sky was just so dark and
yeah.
orange. It looked like the middle of the night in the middle of the day. Did you guys have that too a little bit?
Yeah, yeah. Wait, it did.
Or at
It
least
wasn't
one day?
as for me where I'm at. It wasn't as drastic as where you're at, but pretty close. But what was fascinating is I have a person I work with that's in half of my company is still in South San Francisco, so
Right.
I work remotely with them all the time. And one of the people I'm on this project with is just so creepy to see because I actually had a meeting with her on that Wednesday, and she sits like basically where I almost identical to me. Where I mean I have the blinds down, but behind me these are two windows.
Right.
And she like kind of sits similar where she has the blinds up all the time and it's nice and shiny, lights up her room. It's great lighting for her and her camera. It literally looked like I called her in the middle of the night. The blinds were up and it was pitch black almost. Like it was just like it was like a dark burgundy sky color. It literally looked like I called her in the middle of I explained it like the best way I could explain it to her because she was curious how it looked to me. I was like, it honestly looks like I called you at midnight and there's like a street light outside of on your
Yeah.
street. Like it was just like
Yeah.
this
No, it was
little
wild.
faint orange colored that you can kind of see that was a window, but it looked like it was the middle of the night. It was just so crazy.
Well, it's just weird because it's like, I mean, like how many times you go into work at nighttime? Like you don't really do that too often. It might be a handful of times throughout your career, unless you work at a job that you either work nights or you get called in frequently, right?
Yeah.
So I actually went into work instead of working from home that day. I was actually went into the office that day, and it was interesting because like the moment I left home, it was a little darker than normal, which was strange, and like you can see that this was happening, but it still just kind of looked like a heavy gray fog. It didn't look too crazy. But it's like as the morning went on, it continued to get darker and darker and darker. And by like lunchtime, by like noon, it looked like 2 in the morning, like that dark.
Yeah.
Like going to get a sandwich at work, like I felt like I was driving in the middle of the night. Like everyone's got their headlights on and this and
Yeah.
that. It was just so wild, and you get that feeling almost like you're tired, like it's the middle of the night, and like why am I here? It's like this is crazy. Like,
Yeah.
and then you have to remind yourself like what time of the day it actually is, and
Yeah.
it's like this is so strange,
I think that was the difference between here and where you're at is like we got that orange sky, but it was still light,
Yeah.
where you guys it was dark. Um that's got to be so fascinating to have that feeling where you're just like you feel like it's nighttime and it's literally like
Oh, I
10
know.
a.m. So,
But so okay, so that was like down the peninsula though,
mhm.
and like how the geography is here on the Bay Area throughout the peninsula. It's like, and I live on the coast, and so it's like as I'm driving home in the afternoon, like around 3, 4 o'clock, you know, when there's no fires, you can typically see the fog just chilling on that ridge line, on just a normal random day, right?
Mhm.
Well, it was kind of like that setting, but instead you're seeing an orange glow coming from like the coast side, because it's like the air was a little bit cleaner on that side as opposed to the way it was trapped from the peninsula and the rest of the bay.
Yeah.
So it's like obviously by the time I got home, it was a little bit lighter than where I came from, but I mean it was still very, very, eerie and dark and crazy and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
um, but it's just super wild, and the kids were just like they didn't know what the heck was going on, and it's
Yeah.
it's tough, man.
Yeah, it's so fascinating explaining it to your kids and seeing like how their mind works and understands it. Because my kids, they just like they kept going to the windows and looking, and it's really
Yeah,
interested by it all. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
No, it's wild, man. And then now here we are. We've got you guys up there in the Pacific Northwest, and Seattle specifically dealing with it, and
yeah,
they had to relocate the Giants game tonight back to AT&T Park.
Yeah.
playing an away game in your home park,
Yeah.
batting first. It's like it's kind of interesting,
Yeah.
man. But
Probably throws
hey, the
them off
Giants are
a bit.
definitely taking advantage of it right now with a big lead. So
Yeah. Yeah.
can't complain too much.
Yeah. It's funny because I got like a bunch of alerts before the game that it was postponed, and then it wasn't, and then it was.
No, I was
Like,
getting those alerts too. Like something's going on with ESPN. It
yeah,
was
I think
like
they're
it was
just
like it
getting.
was almost after. It was literally after the conclusion of an inning or a half inning.
Yeah.
Like I was watching the first inning, and in the middle of the inning, like when they recorded the third out, and like normally you just go to commercial and come back. I got an alert on my phone that says the Giants and Mariners postponed.
Yeah.
Then a minute later, it's like, oh, they resumed play.
Yeah.
And then it happened again, like when the inning ended again, and it's like, you guys got to get on that,
Yeah. Yeah.
like
And it
who's
was funny
running
because I
that?
opened the app and I was like, wait, they're like, because I've been driving around, haven't been able to watch it, and I was like, they're playing because my mother-in-law was watching it, and I looked and I was like, no, they're like legit playing. What's going on?
I
So
know.
whatever, ESPN doing their thing.
Yeah, they must have still had their postponed message in there or something from
Yeah.
like the last time they played or
Yeah.
whatever. But Jesus.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway,
with all the uniqueness of COVID and all the postpones and stuff, I'm sure they're, ready to. And I think they, it's ESPN. They're, what, probably multi-million or close to $1 billion company. So I'm
yeah,
sure they're, trying to be the first to get the news out. So maybe just make a little trigger happy.
yeah, for sure, for
So
sure. So, well,
we
let's
got
not
some.
postpone this beer any longer. Let's
I
get
was
into
literally just
that.
gonna say we got some things to talk about. So let's get to these beers.
Yeah. What do you got this week, bro?
So I got something not a little different, but the way it came is different. So this is a Breakside. It's a Wonderlust Indian Pale Ale. It is a 6.2%
Nice.
alcohol by volume. It doesn't have the IBUs. That drives me nuts. Ever since you explained that to me, I'm always curious about it. But it's bottled.
Nice little bomber.
Yeah. So but what I'm gonna do here, because I can't crack this like normal, I'm gonna see if I can get the crack of the bottle sound for us, and then I have another little fun thing about it. Oh, that was good.
Are you gonna like pour it in a beer bong or
I'm
something?
you know what, dude? There's been this little beer bong cup thing out. Have you seen like the ads for it? I'll have to send you
Yeah.
one. No, I'm gonna pour it in this beautiful hydro flask cup that you got me. I
Yep.
swear to God, this thing
It's
is
amazing.
like legitimately made with magic. I don't understand it, but because it's open top. But I've poured beers in this thing before and forgot about them and grabbed them. I'm not even exaggerating. 3 to 4 hours later, taking a sip as a joke, and it'd been ice fucking cold.
No,
It
yeah,
is the
they're
weirdest
awesome.
thing.
I literally use that cup for almost any, like if I need a cup at home, I get that cup. Like I pour my coffee in it in the morning. I drink water out of it. I put ice with water or whatever else in there. And the cool thing about the ice is like you could be done with the water, and you know how there's ice still in your glass. You'll come
Yo,
back and that
hey,
ice is like not even
hang on. I
melted.
gotta cut you off because I gotta show this. I just did that pour. It's a good pour,
Nice
but the
pour.
foam is to the edge. I literally, like a jackass, poured this over my keyboard. And that's, I just had to show that before it started disappearing. I'm taking risks here. It's not even a big risk because so I have an LED keyboard or RGB, whatever bullshit. I don't even use it, all the fanciness, but 2 of the LED lights went out on it. And I just out of curiosity sent a quick message to Logitech, and they're like, oh, show us a video and we'll send you a new one. So I guess I have a new keyboard coming. I didn't even know like there was warranties and stuff on that. Over 2 little freaking lights. So
Nice.
it's not
I'll
like
take the other one. I'll take the broken one.
Dude, I'll send it to you, man. It works perfectly fine. It's got some greasy finger marks on it, and some of the. What's
Might bring
funny
me
is
some luck while I'm playing Call of Duty. You never know.
Hey, right? So you can get my Cheeto dust
Yeah.
skills. So no, but what's funny is it's like right now I have it all red, and every single light's working. It's just the blue LEDs went out. So like I usually have it purple because like some of my theme here is purple.
Yeah.
But those certain lights, they came out like a reddish color because the blue LED isn't working. Like if I turn it all blue, they don't even light up. So it's like, hey, so if you like green or red, this keyboard is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
Yeah, but
Nice.
little side note, I cut you off for some ridiculous ass
no, you're good,
story
dude.
there.
All right. Did you take a sip of that thing yet, or are you still waiting for the foam to go down?
I'm going. It was only a little bit of foam. It was just was a scary moment.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's good. I've had another one from this place. It's pretty good. I forget where exactly this place is. I know it's in Portland, but sometimes they have like the actual. Here we go. International Way, Portland, Oregon.
Nice.
Breakside Brewery. I've actually never been to this brewery. I wonder if they're like a. I'm sure they're the restaurant type. Most of the breweries here, it's like you can go to and have a little bite to eat and then a beer. This is one I haven't gone to yet.
Yeah.
But I've had their beers before and they're pretty decent.
So, so I'm working with another hometown favorite, my favorite local brewery, Hop Dogma Brewing Company, and perfect beer for right now when everyone's cooped up inside, dealing with all this smoke, and whether you've had a crappy day or just a long day, or you need something to put a smile on your face. What you need is smile medication.
You've had another one that was similar like that. It's like that. Is it from
Silly
the same
Gimmick
place?
was the last. Well, I had the Silly Gimmick was the last Hop Dogma one I had.
Oh.
So this is smile medication. So it's like it's a play off of like medical marijuana and the pill or the pill container format prescription.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
You know, because as most of my heavily dank IPAs roll, they resemble the stench and bite of the cannabis plant, which is one of the main draws to me for this beer, because that's sort of the flavor that I gravitate towards. And this is a double IPA, 8.2%. The tagline is exquisitely unbalanced, and it is right there, you know, just that for sure.
Nice.
It's amazing. I love it. I've had this one quite a bit. It's one of my favorites from them as well. I've got about 4 or 5 favorites from them. I mean, you're gonna hear me say that probably more from this brewery. They're just that. I call them my hometown brewery, even though they're not in Pacifica. They're the closest hometown brewer to me. There's another one here in Pacifica, but they just don't have it. They just don't have the X factor. Their beer's not any good to me, and I don't go there.
Where is that?
So
Where's that place?
Pedro Point Brewing Company.
Okay. That's new?
It's been there for a couple years. First of all, they're not even in Pedro Point, which, you know, bothers me.
Yeah.
And they call themselves Pedro Point Brewing
Company.
Where are they? And they're up in Manor, right next to like where it used to like It's Italia was. They're like right next door, you know?
Wow. Okay, so they're not on the point. They're nowhere. They're literally the opposite
they're
side
on the
of town.
opposite end of town. Yeah, exactly.
That's even not much worse. Wow.
Yeah. And I've had a few of their beers, and like they're it's okay. I'm not into it. You know, and like I even went to like the SF Beer Week opening beer gala, and they're there, like all the other like local brewers are there, and every other brewery's got lines, you know, and people waiting for their beer. It's like you can walk right up to Pedro Point and get a beer. Like it's not a good sign, you know. Like, you know. That's so, but yeah, get yourself some smile medication if you can. Everybody can use a good smile these days.
It's like you're running an ad right there. Nice.
You know, hey. I'm cheap.
We put this on YouTube, so when you do shit like that, you have to say, you know, I think we're actually supposed to say something. Well, no, not until we're monetized. We don't have any rules right now. If we ever get monetized, we have to be clear. Like
we're doing this for free right now, so we can literally do what we want.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know,
say and do what we want.
But yeah, smile medication is it's a highly recommended beer. If you haven't already tried it, go do it. You can't go wrong for sure. So anyway,
so I got a little rant to start.
Let's hear it, man.
Start the episode off with. So we've been talking about, you know, our health and me getting in some better shape and things like that. So I've talked a little bit about my bike ordering, and I think I talked in the past about how I ordered a Schwinn. It was going to be 60 days, and then at the 30-day mark, I checked, and it had bumped up to 90 days. And to clarify, I was like 90 days to go, not like they added another 30 days. It was like 90 days from that 30 days, right? So I said, you know what, screw it. I canceled, and I ordered the Peloton. And the reason I didn't order the Peloton at the gate is because I am a cheap bastard. You know, I always look for the deal and everything. And for me, the Schwinn just seemed like it was going to be the best value. It got good reviews, good quality bike. Didn't come with the screen, so I felt like I used my iPad, do my own thing.
But if the
But
Schwinn was that delayed, then apparently there's a lot of other cheap people out there who didn't wanna buy the Peloton
yeah,
either if it was that delayed, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. So, but it just kind of triggered me because it's like, dude, I'm trying to like get this going now. So when we get out of
Yeah.
this whole mess and I go back to work, I look like a different person, not starting at that point.
Yeah.
So,
You're really holding me back. Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
like right. So, but the reason I want to talk about this is because at the end of what my story here, I want to ask a question because me and my wife butted heads on how I handled this with the situation I'm going to tell you about. So
Oh,
I
I
ordered the
can't wait.
Peloton, right? Peloton was 30 days. Like, cool. That's
No big deal.
understandable. We're in a pandemic, blah, blah, blah. So it's scheduled to be delivered on Friday. I've been excited. I've been patiently waiting for this bike to show up because I really like, I'm doing what I can, but as you know, I got bad knees. This is like my thing. This is going to be the thing. I remember, when I used to ride the bike in rehab from my surgeries. It was always the thing that I could really go to town on. So I've been
Yeah.
excited about this thing.
'Cause it's the thing you know won't hurt your knee, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. So I know like when this thing comes, I can put work on it, right? So it's supposed to be delivered Friday between 10 and 12. At 10:30, I get an email saying because of weather, uh, they canceled the delivery. And they'll contact me within 72 hours to reschedule. So I was pissed. And it's like, it's me being kind of selfish. I get that, but it's like, you knew what the weather was going to be like. Like you could have told me. I think I was more mad. I mean, I work from home, it's
Yeah.
not a big deal, but I think it's just more the principle. Like you knew what the weather was going to be like. You should have told me that morning or, yesterday. Um, the fact that I was like notified in the middle of the delivery window just kind of pissed me off. Right.
Yeah, I just rubbed you that much wrong.
Yeah. But what pissed me off even more is literally like 2 hours before that 72-hour mark, I get another email that my delivery has been rescheduled for October 9th.
Oh, jeez.
Literally 2 days away from an entire month. That's another 30 days.
Well,
So
how could it
it's,
be that close to you and then all of a sudden it's that far
well,
away?
yeah.
It's like, did
So,
it turn around and go back, you know?
dude, so I hopped on like customer support chat, which, you're talking to a robot. They're basically
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
like, oh, nothing we can do, nothing we can do. And it's like, okay. So I emailed them. I still haven't heard back. I tried calling, but they're like, the whole time's like an hour and a half. I'm like, I'm not sitting on hold for an hour and a half for this. So, but yeah. So basically, like, I butted heads with my wife about it because I was really triggered. Like I was on chat at venting the day of about the delivery being canceled in the middle of the window, and she was like, "You need to chill." Like look at outside and all this. And I think for me, like I get that. I'm not trying to be a complete douche. Like I was okay with it being canceled. I was just annoyed how the cancellation went, like how they went about the cancellation. I didn't get a call. I got an email. It was almost halfway into the delivery window. I think that's what kind of triggered me. And she was like, you need to like think outside the box. Like maybe they were coming from somewhere and they couldn't get to us because they had to drive through where the fires are. Like I just didn't think about all that. And then finally I was like, okay, I can kind of get that. Then when I got the email about it being a month later, I'm like, dude, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah, you would think like
So
this would delay it maybe a week or a few
yeah,
days to a week or maybe 2 at the most, and it's like especially if you were like if you're already in your delivery window, which usually means it's probably close by, you know? Like, I doubt that it's 5 states over when it's supposed to
yeah,
be delivered within this 2, hour
yeah.
window,
Yeah, well,
you
they
know?
have to be close by because me and two of my buddies all ordered the bike within a day of each other. And my delivery was 30 days, theirs are 60 days. And I'm talking like, so me and Skylar, this is kind of a funny thing, but we play, this is one of our buddies that I play Call of Duty with almost every night. He was late at logging on one night because he was ordering the Peloton. I had ordered it maybe 15 minutes before him. Like we were almost doing it at the exact
Oh, nice.
unknowing, like he hopped on.
Yeah, yeah.
I was talking to another buddy I played with. I was telling him about it, I ordered the bike, and then he hopped on. He's like, sorry guys, I was ordering a Peloton. And we just kind of laughed about it. So, but the fact that I was only 30-day delivery, they're 90 days, like they have to be somewhere, they have to have a factory or something close to where I'm at. So that's what
Right,
kind of
yeah.
even makes it more like, you're going to make me wait another month? So I don't know. We'll see what they reply to my email. I pulled the whole like I was nice and professional, but kind of dicky too, where I was just like, another 30 days is a little ridiculous. If it can't be moved up, I might have to think about canceling and going with an alternative. Like, I'm not gonna do that. Like, we'll see if they call my bluff.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I
I
just feel
wonder if they
like,
just decided to like, hey, we're gonna shut down deliveries to Oregon right now until things get a little bit better. Who
yeah,
knows?
and
You
and
know?
and that's the thing. Like, if that's the case, I'm cool with it. But like
But
the
they didn't
email
say
was
that.
like they
You
didn't give
know?
me any reason outside of because of weather conditions, which I'm fine with. But you got to give me some more
Yeah,
context when you're telling me that this bike was supposed to be delivered today and now
right.
it's going to take another 30 days. Like,
Yeah,
that's the part where I'm
that's a little
like,
rough.
that's not very good customer service. But at the same time, it's like it's challenging because they've already shown me pretty good customer service because I ordered the bike when it was like $2,000 and now they've dropped the price. They dropped the price $350 without me knowing. They just sent me an email and they sent all of my buddies that ordered around the same time. They're reimbursing us that they're crediting us that
A
money.
new price,
Yeah. So which
right?
is not like, and it's not it's not like they're giving cash back. I've already received mine. It's like that's something that they don't have to do. I already placed my order,
Yeah,
but they did it for anyone that placed an order and hadn't received the bike yet. So it's like trying to find the balance of like, what, they obviously do give a shit about their customers because they don't have to do that in any way. Like,
yeah,
we committed to that price, you know, but it's just good customer service to do that. But then here at the other side with the delivery, I'm getting like freaking the cold shoulder through the chat, which you never know if you're talking to a real person or a bot. And I can't get a hold of someone in person. And the email, it's been 3 days, so I'm probably gonna try to call again tomorrow. I have some time in the day tomorrow where work is gonna be pretty chill, so I might actually call and just have my phone on hold. We'll see. Um,
yeah.
but I don't know. It just like I just feel like the world does not want me to get an exercise bike right now. Like it just jumping through hoops, and it's like by the time this thing comes, like, am I even gonna need it anymore? So, I
I
mean,
know you got those sweet shoes, dude. Like you must just be like putting
dude,
them on, walking
bro,
around the
I'm
house,
not
breaking them
bullshitting
in.
you. Jen was clowning on me and my wife so hard because the morning, dude, I came down for work in like my freaking exercise shorts, an old, like, kind of beat up t-shirt. Like, I was ready for when that thing came to literally plug it in and get on it. And I think, and she was like, you got yourself too amped up, man. Like, I was ready to go, bro. I had
You
my
jinxed
shoes
yourself,
out.
dude.
Cause they put it together, assemble it, and then bring it right inside. So it's like I literally was gonna have to pick it up, carry it into the room, plug it in, log in, and boom, first ride, here we
Done
go.
deal.
And now I have
Yeah,
to wait another month.
yeah.
I'm actually
That
still
sucks,
in the same shorts. I've just been waiting.
dude.
I'm just kidding,
Dude,
but
poor shorts. Those poor shorts.
so that's my rant of the week.
But what's your question though?
Oh, like, do you feel I'm out of line by being angry about the cancellation of how they handled the cancellation of the delivery?
I don't think you're out of line. I'm sure you're not the only one that, you know,
Yeah.
gave them
Like,
a
even
piece
in
of
the
your
chat,
mind. You know
I
what I mean?
felt like I expressed, like, I was like, I understand it. Like, I totally understand it being canceled. Like, the fucking garbage company canceled picking up our garbage. Like,
Yeah,
I
no, I
get
mean,
it.
I feel
I
like they
just,
just owe you a little bit more of an explanation than just weather
as to
conditions.
why it's going to be
You know?
30 days.
Yeah, if
So,
they said like, well, like, because of air quality, we can't have our employees out right now, and so they're going to be at home, and so everything's sort of back ordered, and then that, we have to juggle everything, not just your order, sir. Like,
yeah.
but like they didn't say that. Just weather conditions. It's like, well, it's not really raining, it's not really snow, it's not really this or that. It's like I get it that that it's smoke, but if it, like you said, if the road is not closed because of smoke, like usually deliveries are still going on. You
Yeah.
know. Um, so like I said, like we had that orange glow day last week. Like we still got Amazon packages and all that stuff. It's like there's a lot of stuff that's still happening, even though we're going through this crazy wild time. And it's just like I get it that they send their employees out to do the install and all that. So maybe they just operate differently than a typical delivery service like UPS, FedEx, or whatever the case may be, right? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I feel like
And
they
I
should have
know it's
offered you
through
a
like
little
a
bit more
third
detail.
party. Like, I know it's through a third party delivery company because like they were like, oh, it's up to them because that because they were talking about like
Okay.
credits and stuff in the chat with me, and I was like, because I asked, I was like, am I gonna get like some kind of credit or anything for? And I wasn't like douchey about that. I was just curious. I wasn't not
Yeah.
expecting a credit. Like it's like again, I understand the reason of the cancellation. I just felt like they could have handled it better, but I don't expect a credit because of you couldn't get to my house because the whole left side of the United States is on fire. Like I understand
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I was
Right.
just I just asked like do I is there anything I get for this? Like I don't know. I wasn't trying to even. And I think I explained it when I was typing it that like I'm not expecting anything, just curious. And they were like, well, that you don't qualify because of the condition of the cancellation. I was like, all right, well,
So I got a question for you though.
yeah,
So when you do get it, you know how like you play video games with your buddies and stuff?
yeah,
Like, are you gonna be able to like call your buddies and be like, "Hey man, you guys want to go for a bike ride?"
bro. So what's funny is I play with a group of about 5 guys every night, and
Yeah.
4 of us one has it already. He's had it for a while. 3 of us have ordered it, and there's just the one guy that doesn't have one. But we're already talking about like because you can ride together or you can compete and
Or
stuff.
do
So
the same class or
so
whatever.
we're
That would be
definitely gonna do
crazy.
that. I'm excited for
That'd be
that
fun,
because
man.
I'll probably burn them on the bike just like I burn them in Call of Duty. So
But it's nice to have that I mean, like it's nice going to the gym with a buddy versus going to the gym by yourself. And in this
yeah,
case, it's like getting a workout with your friends, which keeps you motivated, and also it's harder for you to like back out of a workout because you're like, oh, I set this up, I was gonna do this at 7, like 6:45. I can't really just like it'd be really bad of me to just bail on them now, or that's gonna look bad if I'm just like, they did 5 this week and I only joined them for 2, like
yeah,
what does that say about me, So it will help you, it will help the motivation factor, and it's always nice you get a little bit more like you'd always get that extra rep at the gym, when you have your buddy there because you're trying to like prove a little something.
yeah,
So like you said, like you'll get a little bit more
yeah. Like a little
more
friendly competition.
adrenaline going, trying to show up your buddies a little bit.
Yeah, I think it'll be good because it will keep us motivated with each other too. So
Hell yeah!
yeah,
And then when
it's
you guys
funny
are
how many
done, you
people
just hop
have this
on playing Call
goddamn
of Duty.
thing. Yeah, it's funny how many people have this goddamn thing or are getting it. Like I literally since I put my order in, I've learned of I think 6 other people buying one. I just learned was it today? These days are blending together. Yesterday I learned my supervisor ordered one. I was like, wait, are you kidding me? Like who else has ordered this damn thing? So
Yeah, not me. I haven't ordered one yet.
yet,
So,
give it time. I'll break you down.
but that's because I usually like
But you're
usually
you
like
like you're a runner
yeah,
and stuff. So
usually put on my
I
Nikes and I leave the
I
house
yeah,
for
and I do that. Like
8
that.
miles.
I go on my
Yeah,
walks and stuff. I'm at a weight still where it's pretty hard on my knees. And I also
yeah.
in normal conditions, I live in an area where 3/4 of the year it's raining and I don't really I'm not scared of the rain and most of the time it's light drizzle, but there's gonna be those days where it's like I just don't really want to deal with getting wet right now.
No, and with 3 little kids at home, especially the one little one,
Yeah.
it'll be a lot easier to, like, maybe he'll be entertained off to the side and you could still work out,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I
it
like the
does have
idea
its
of it just
benefits for sure, bro.
yeah. I can definitely see myself hitting it up right after bedtime and the big kids getting out of bed and me being able to yell at them while pedaling, get back in bed, you little bastard. I
Yeah,
don't ever say
yeah,
that, but in my
for
head, I
sure.
want to say that sometimes. Listen, you little effers.
Well, good luck with your bike, man. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah,
I
maybe on
hope
my
I hope
40th
Jen
birthday, I'll
takes a
get
nice
to,
little picture of you on it with your new shoes
yeah,
and your spandex shorts
just that,
you know,
just the shoes and the
yeah.
spandex shorts and nothing else.
I see, I would rather you instead of wearing a t-shirt, like, it'd be better if you just wore the wife beater while you did it.
Yeah. With
It's
like a
just
mustard stain, like with a
have
mustard
that thing
stain,
just dripping wet, and so till it's so sweaty that it just looks like it's
like a
brown,
partial
you
man
know?
boob hanging out the side.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe for you, maybe just for you.
that'd be perfect, man.
Send you a.
Dude,
I'll send you.
I
You know
bet, like,
what?
'cause if
Here's the
you take
deal.
that picture as, like, day 1, right? And then, like, whatever you look like down the road, and
Yeah.
then you guys send that to Peloton,
I
and
don't know.
then you'll
Maybe
be,
I'll
like,
just
the new
post it
face
to
of
my.
Peloton.
I'll just post it to my OnlyFans.
There you go. There you go.
I don't even know what I just said, dude. I feel old lately, bro. I don't know any. I don't understand anything of what
I don't
like
really know
only.
what the hell
I,
OnlyFans is, but I know there's people getting rich off of it for
yeah, I
sure.
mean, I guess it's like a site where people are posting like nudes, but you got to pay for them.
Yeah, they're doing
And then
whatever. I think they could do whatever the hell they want on
yeah,
there, really.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
like the TikTok, I don't really understand that. My understanding is it's like a new what was the one back in the day?
What, like MySpace?
No, not that back in the day. We're really old. No, there was one I can't think of it.
Snapchat or something?
No, not Snapchat. It was before. I think Snapchat, it's something that Vine.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's like the new Vine or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, because it's more about, like, videos and, like, editing them to, like, make, like, a
Yeah.
compilation of videos and
Yeah.
whatnot,
But I don't understand all that, dude. I'm just too old. I watched a video that I guess there's this one really popular little girl that does these dances. And I watched like one of the dances and I feel like she's just like, I think I might have talked about this on the podcast before. Maybe I just talked about it to you. I feel like she's just like going through these moves and in her head, she's just like, all right, I'm just going to throw this arm up here. And then I'm going to like kick this leg. Like they're weird. They're not like,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and it's like, and sometimes I feel like it's a bunch of different dances that are pieced together.
They
I don't
are.
understand it. I don't understand the hype around it. I don't understand how this.
I don't
like,
see. I'm not on
17-year-old girl
TikTok,
has,
but like I'm happy that like people who are on TikTok post these things to like Facebook and Instagram, so
Yeah.
I can like at least see what's going on.
Yeah, that's how
And
I see it too. Some of the stuff's
and
funny.
there's
Like some
well,
of it's
there's
really
one guy that we went to high school with who I'm not gonna say his name, but like he's an actual history teacher at our high school now, and he's posting some TikTok videos like on his Facebook and stuff. But you can tell he joined TikTok because his students are on TikTok.
Yeah.
And so he's doing these like almost like he's got costumes and like wigs and like all this kind of crap, and he's doing these like historical reenactments on TikTok. And it's like
Yeah.
if you thought about it, like if you're in high school and your teacher did this, like it'd be pretty entertaining. And
Yeah.
it's a good tool to like.
I want to
Hey,
know who it is. You're gonna have to let me know.
I'll
after.
tell you later, but
Yeah.
but yeah, it's like it's super cool because it's like it's a way for him to connect with his students,
Yeah.
and they're probably doing distance learning right now too. So
Yeah.
it's an additional way to do it, and it's just
Yeah.
another way to sort of deliver the material in an entertaining way that they'll actually like pay attention to and absorb, you know. And so, you know, I gotta applaud him for this, dude. I think it's awesome what he's doing, and
Yeah.
you know, putting himself out there like that, and we know why and everything, but it's just like you can tell he really has a passion for teaching and
That's
like
awesome.
and his subject, you know, history and whatnot. And so
Is it a
it's just
teacher
really
that
cool
was
to
there
see
when
it.
we went there?
What's that?
Is it a teacher that was there when we went there?
Is he a teacher there when we went there?
Yeah, you said it was a teacher
No,
at our.
he was a student in our class. He's our age. He's now a
Oh.
teacher
Oh.
at our high school, a history teacher. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I have no idea who that is.
Yeah,
I'm really
I'll let you
curious
know
about it.
later. But yeah, it's pretty
I
awesome.
will say some of the little the TikTok videos they show up in like compilation YouTube videos. There's a couple that I've watched that are pretty funny. There's like one trend is you know the Bang energy drinks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so there's a compilation. I don't know why like this shit comes up in my recommendations out of like totally random, right? And then sometimes I'm like, well, what is this? So I watch it, but it was a compilation of dudes. They walk up to their girlfriends and they're like, hey babe, you want to bang? And they're like, what, like right now? And he's like, yeah, you want to bang? And they're like, yeah, okay. And then he's like, and then they pull out the energy drink, and the chick just gets like really mad. It's just kind of funny.
Yeah.
And then there's like the parents reacting to the WAP video or song.
Oh, I know.
Which
I
that's
know.
hilarious, dude, because that
Yeah.
song is pretty deep on its own. So it's just funny watching people even older than us react to it.
Well, there's another one too where it's like the shut up prank. Have you heard of that
Oh
one?
yeah.
Yeah.
The kid says shut up.
Yeah, where it's like the parent will ask them to do something, and then the kid will totally snap at the parent. Shut up, mom! I'm doing this. And then the dad's like sitting on the couch, like watching the news, and the dad gets up, like, "What'd you say to mom?" You know, like it's a joke. It's a joke. You know?
I just came across that one today. Actually, I was cracking up at that one.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
so
I mean,
those
some of
things are
these are
kinda
like
funny.
you're taking these a little too far, you know. But
Yeah, some of them are funny and creative like that, but I think just the dancing ones are the ones that are weird to me because the dances don't look. They just look
Well,
messy and like random. I don't know.
well, the dancing stuff gets out of hand because it's like now it's like you can't have a new musical artist release a song that doesn't have a dance that goes with that new single,
Yeah.
and it's just like like what happened to the days where you just put out a cool song and we
Yeah.
all just like
Well, that's
dance to
like
it
that's
however the
where
hell
our
we
age
want, you
shows
know?
though, because remember, like when we were kids, we used to listen to gangster rap, and our parents would be like, "What the
Oh, I
fuck?"
know.
And now the rappers, there's the one dude that literally looks like he got in a fight with a fucking popsicle making machine and has 69 tattooed on his face,
Yeah, yeah.
and his music is complete nonsense, and the
Oh, I
dude's
know.
making millions.
I know.
It's like that just goes to where our age is at. Like we're
Yeah.
becoming our parents.
Well,
So,
here's this for age. I saw this meme the other day where it's like kids these days when they want to hear a song they like, they go, Alexa, play blah blah blah, and then where at our age was like, oh, we had to call the radio station and request a song, then sit by the radio for about an hour and a half to wait for the hear the song that we requested, just so that we could push record and tape it on our blank tape
bro.
deck, so that way we'd have that song to listen to whenever we wanted to. So that whole process took about 3 hours, you know?
Yep. And the worst part about that process is when you'd call and get the busy,
Yeah,
and you have to
yeah,
call and call and call, and then you finally get through
over and over.
and you
Yeah,
put your song request and they'd be like, all right, yeah, we'll play that soon. And then they never freaking play it.
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
worst, because then you're sitting there for like 4 or 5 hours, and then you
yeah.
finally are like, I don't think they're going to play our song, dude.
Or it's just like been an hour and 20 minutes and you really got to go to the bathroom and you fear
Mm,
that like you're
yeah.
gonna walk out and then they're gonna play your song and then you're screwed and it's just like, come on,
Well,
man.
that's also, that goes in with like, now the big thing is iTunes Music and Spotify,
Yeah.
where every song's right there to fingertip, where back
Yep.
in those days, it's either that or the other alternative was good old Napster
Yep.
or
Yep.
BearShare, LimeWire. But the catch is, like, when Napster first came out, like I got on a Napster before people knew what Napster was, and you'd set like 3 songs to download and hope that they finished the next morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
I used to find a few songs, set them before I went to bed, and hope that I would be able to play them on my way to
Or
school
no,
the next
you
morning.
would actually click like 3 or 4 of the same song and then like
Yeah.
whichever one would start downloading faster, then you'd have to like kill the other 2.
Yep.
So then maybe okay,
Yeah.
okay, we got one. It's
Yeah.
going. We
And
got
then
one.
sometimes you download it and it wouldn't be like the official one. It'd be someone recorded off the radio.
Yeah.
So in the middle of the
Yeah.
song, you get like Wild 94.9,
Yeah.
or something like that. And you're
Oh
just like,
no, but it
ah,
was like some Midwest radio
yeah.
station, so it's like even worse, you know?
Yeah. But like in the middle of the song, you'd be like, oh, this is it. And then all of a sudden,
Yeah,
coming at you live. You're like, what the
yeah,
fuck was that?
yeah. That's not something you
So
want to
then you
like
got to
bring to your
delete
friend's house
that and
and like
download
play at a
another
party.
version. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, the good old days, man.
I
When we
know,
had to
dude.
walk to school uphill both ways
I
in
know.
the snow.
That was back when MTV still played videos and stuff.
Yeah.
They didn't have stupid reality shows like they do now.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
remember back, dude, like MTV was the shit. You'd wake up in the morning, what
Uh,
was it, Saturday morning, the top 20 countdown?
it was Saturday and Sunday, but Sunday was the best. And like I fell in love with Daisy Fuentes at like 7 years old. With like the top 20 countdown.
Yeah.
And like I think the first song that I listened to on the top 20 countdown was Smashing Pumpkins 1979. And it was
Yes.
and it was on that top 20 countdown for like the longest
Yeah.
time,
Dude, that song was on there
Like,
forever.
oh my God. Like
My
that,
favorite
like
thing about the top 20 countdown was not at the time, but looking back at it now, was when there was that one song that you just loved, and you
mhm.
listened to it nonstop. And as the weeks went by, you were still loving the song, but it kept dropping down the list. And then you just got to
Yeah,
that point where you're like, oh my God, am I not gonna be able to listen to this song next week?
yeah, yeah.
And then finally that day
Or
would
it's like
come.
or this song's number 19, like is it still cool that I like it?
Yeah.
Because it's not in the top 10,
Yeah.
Like, am I supposed to be playing the songs that are in the top 10?
Yeah.
But, like, you gotta remember too, it's like that's how you learned about the music and the artist and all this kind of stuff because it's
Yeah.
like we didn't have YouTube to go to like check it out whenever we wanted to,
Yeah.
or a lot of these artists didn't have they don't have social media, they didn't have websites, like a lot of this stuff didn't really exist. So it's like in order to really get this, like that's when like MTV News, like they had MTV News,
Yeah.
like that was like one of the coolest things because it's like they're actually reporting just like a live news channel would, but only on your musical artists and
Yeah.
what like the current like pop culture news is for these artists, and so I mean it's like a dying breed. It's like none of that happens anymore,
Yeah. Music's so different now.
it's
I
going through like
often
a
say
different
this.
medium.
Yeah, I often catch myself saying this, but I truly believe that we were born at the perfect time where we got to experience all that, but we also got to grow up with like I think over the last 20 years has been like, I mean, I guess it's always going to be like that, but I feel like the last 20 years has been like the biggest technological advances in our
Oh yeah,
lifetimes or
for
in
sure.
history.
Exponentially too,
Yeah,
you
and
know?
I love the fact that like were grown up where as kids, like, I didn't get an actual cell phone until I think I was a junior in high school, and it was like
Me too.
a flip phone. And then I think like 6 months later, I went to the little Nokia. Remember the
Yeah,
little Nokias? But
yeah.
like, it's still like, even with having a cell phone, like you know this.
Yeah,
I still, because it's the same for me to this day. I'm terrible with phones. Terrible
yeah,
with phones. Like, if I'm out doing something, I'm not on my phone.
right,
Like it's in my pocket on silent or something.
right,
Dude,
yeah,
it
yeah.
drives my wife nuts, dude. She'll call me like 10 times from upstairs, and I'm like, my phone's right next to me, but it's on silent because I'm
Yeah,
just,
yeah, and you're
and
wearing
it's like
headphones, you're, like, doing
yeah,
stuff,
but
you
it's
know?
like, so with me with phones, even like nowadays, like I'm on my phone constantly with like news and stuff, but like the actual like communication between people, like text messages and stuff, I'm just always been bad at that. But like, so my point is like, I just love that, like, I grew up playing outside and doing all that, like what your parents used to say, or our parents used to say, like, go outside. Blah, blah.
Yeah,
I grew up
right,
doing that,
right.
but I also grew up to where like I know the tech, I know it all, like, better than most. So
Oh, for sure.
I just
What
love the
bothers
fact that
me
like
these days.
if the world went offline today, I'd be like, all right, well, got to revert back to the good old days where people 5 years younger than us are going to be like, oh my god,
Yeah, I know,
what are we going to do?
I
Like
know.
people don't even know what a map book is. Like that's what's crazy. Like if the internet crashed right now and like a news alert went out and we're like, you have to get to
Right.
Las Vegas right now.
Yeah, just pull that thing out.
Like,
Yeah.
not like majority of the country is going to be like, well, I don't have service. How do I find Las Vegas?
Yeah, yeah,
You know, it's just
yeah.
crazy. I
You know
remember
how
like,
many people, like, have driven to the same location multiple times and still don't know how to get there because they rely so much on their GPS?
yeah,
And I'm
I'm
sure
not
you're
gonna
one
lie,
of them.
that's kind of me right now up here. But
Well, you're still learning an area, it's
yeah,
different,
yeah,
but, like, you know but the thing that bothers me about, like, how far we've advanced technology, it's like, we've gotten some really cool technology that for whatever reason, society is already deemed obsolete and they don't produce anymore, like and what I'm talking about specifically is, like, I've got an 8-year-old, and for his birthday, I wanted to get him, like, when I was a kid, like, I had my own Walkman or Discman or this or that, and then it became an iPod, it's like
yeah.
so I wanted to get him, like, an iPod, so he could play music, but they don't freaking sell iPods anymore. It's
I
like
know, dude.
it's like if you want an iPod, you got to get the iPod Touch. Like there's
Yep.
no just basic iPod,
Nope.
and it's like I didn't want to get the iPod Touch because I don't want to like he's not going to listen to music if I give him an iPod Touch. Like
Yep.
he's going to do whatever else he can do. It's basically
Dude.
giving him an iPhone that you can't call or text on or whatever, right?
Hmm.
And so we ended up finding like this like little I don't even know the brand, but it's like a little MP3 player for like 40-50 bucks on Amazon, and I loaded like 150 songs on it for him. And I mean, he loves it, but it's just like the iPod was so great for this reason, and it's like,
Dude.
why can't we like preserve the youth for just a little bit longer before we give them a tiny computer in their
Uh,
hands? You know what I
to
mean? Like,
to this day, as I honest to God, and people make fun of me for this, I still use it to this day. One of my favorite devices is the iPod Shuffle. It's just this
yeah,
little tiny thing. I can put like I think 250 songs on it.
yeah,
It's nice. I
a
clip
little
it to my
stick, yeah.
sleeve, go on a little
I know we
jog.
have one of those
Oh
too, and
man.
it's toast. Like we plugged it in before we bought this one to see if like it would work, and it
Yeah.
didn't even come on.
Yeah, I
I was
think
like,
mine's
oh,
right here
this
in this
would have been
drawer.
perfect. I would have like just wiped it out and put new stuff on it
Yeah.
and pretend like I bought it for him, like
Yeah, dude. The shuffle was legit, man.
Oh
But I mean, I
man,
guess
but
now, and what's funny is like I still have it and I still use it. I used it last week, but it's like I have an Apple Watch, so that's kind of makes the
yeah,
shuffle obsolete.
exactly,
Um,
yeah. Like
but
we don't need that stuff, but
yeah,
like,
but a kid,
like
yeah.
my point was is like come on, man, like we don't you don't want to give your 8-year-old
Oh
an
yeah, dude.
iPhone.
My dude,
You know what I mean?
Nate's been asking me lately, like, "Hey, Dad, when do I get a cell phone? Like,
I know.
don't you talk to me about cell phones right now?
Seriously,
What are you
dude.
talking about?
I'm
What do you
like,
need?"
I'm like,
Jen says it
you'll
perfectly,
get
dude.
one when I think you need one. When I
Yeah,
need to get a hold of you, that's when you'll get one.
Jen answers that question perfectly every time. What do you need? What do you need a phone for?
Yeah.
When are you in a situation where you need to call us?
Yeah.
When you can answer that question, we'll talk about a cell phone.
Yeah.
Okay. Good point. Valid point.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I mean, yeah, it will come with some independence. Because I mean, to be honest with you, dude, we're at the skate park and like, there's some kids who are, I get it. Like, there's some high school kids. They got phones. Like, not a big deal. But like, there's some kids who are like 9, 10 years old,
Yeah.
and their parents ain't there, and they have phones. Now, I
That's
get
crazy
that
to
if
me,
you're
dude.
if you're the type of parent who's okay with that, then if my kid was somewhere by himself, I would want him to have a phone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like I guess that's the point where you give your kid a phone is when
But at
you
the
are now
same time,
comfortable to separate yourself from your kids and
yeah.
they're somewhere in public without you.
But
you
at
know?
that time, do they need an iPhone?
No.
No. And that's what these kids have. So it's crazy.
But a lot of times, dude, it's like they have an iPhone because they got the parents' old iPhone.
Yeah,
It's
see,
free.
that's where like every
You know
time
what
we
I mean?
upgrade, I trade the old phones in, so I don't even have any old ones anymore.
I usually do too. Or my
I think
phones
I
are
have like a
usually just, like,
3S somewhere in a drawer, but
my phones are usually so like broken by that point. That's the reason why I upgraded. Like
yeah,
I can't. They're unusable anyway. But
yeah,
there are those factors out there.
yeah.
You know. But anyway, man, we didn't get to necessarily preview NFL Week 1, but we definitely can react to it, man.
Yeah, some interesting things. I think
It
the
didn't go well
whole
for us being Niner fans, obviously.
oh
Being,
yeah, just having the freaking best defense in the league, having this, what's supposed to be an
I don't know
amazing
where our defense was,
quarterback.
man. I
Yeah,
don't know where our
it's
defense
like,
was.
well, where was our defense? Where were our receivers? Oh, that's right, we don't have any receivers.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm starting to get to a point where I'm getting mad that there are people out there like Des Bryant, which is still a good enough receiver to be playing. And here's a team that we have
Better than what
shit.
we have. That's the point.
Yeah. Like, why are we not calling these guys? And I get what the Niners, the Niners have created a certain team expectation, and it's obviously worked out fantastically so far. And I'm sure some of these people like, okay, perfect example. Antonio Brown would never in a million years be signed by the Niners, even if you signed him at the league minimum, because the Niners have built a type of team that type of receiver with that type of attitude has no place there. And I think it's a good thing. I think it's the thing that makes the Niners who they are right now. But there are receivers out there that fit that void that we're not even contacting. And I think that's what's making me mad.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, at least if you contacted and worked them out and you saw something you didn't like or didn't work out and you don't release that to the public, which is fine, at least that it makes me feel like, hey, at least they're trying. Like, hey, they work this guy out and then, whatever happened. That's great. But I think for me, it's just a frustration that we're not even working these guys out. Now, I know we signed Sanu.
I mean, come on.
And I know we just signed Sanu, and Sanu's decent, but Sanu has never been the type of receiver that we desperately need right now. He'll fill some voids, but he's not.
Gotta remember, Sanu and Des Bryant are the same body type. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's history with Sanu and Shanahan in Atlanta. And especially if you're going to sign a guy already within the season, you want a guy who's going to absorb your playbook pretty quickly. So I get that. Now the other thing that you got to remind yourself of constantly is we're continuously getting dealt a bad hand when it comes to the receiver room, and that's because it's not like we're drafting complete duds. I mean, we got one in Dante Pettis for sure.
Oh God, dude!
But I mean, you think about
supposed to be like an elite receiver, and sometimes when he shows up on camera, I'm like, oh my God, that guy's still on our fucking team. I totally forgot about him.
Bro, I haven't run a route since 2003, but I'm willing to bet everything that I got that if you put the jersey and the pads on me, I'm not saying I'm better, but I will for sure give you 1,000% more effort than this guy.
Yeah, he fucking dude. I feel like I watch him and I feel like who used to do it all the time that when they knew they weren't involved with the play, they would just like jog and he was a good receiver though.
Randy Moss.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. The difference here is
Randy Moss
Pettis
could
doesn't
block, and he
have.
would still do some good things, like,
Yeah, but
but there
most of
were
the time
times where he would just
he
take several plays off.
yeah, he would just like, take like the 3 steps off the line and then just wait for the play to end. That's what I
Or
feel
especially if he
like
was to the
Pettis
weak
is
side, like he would just start walking back to the huddle.
Yeah, but
You know?
that's what I feel like how Pettis is. The only difference is he has nowhere near that elite level skill like Moss did. You have like a
here's the difference,
mediocre
like,
receiver that's doing that lazy shit.
yeah,
Like Moss can get
here's
away
the
with it
thing.
because the next play, if the ball's getting thrown to him, he's running for an 86-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
Or
Here's
Pettis
the
ain't
thing
gonna
that
catch the
bothers
ball.
me about Pettis and the effort is, like, so the one target that he had in the game on Sunday, he was overthrown, whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, bro, you haven't done anything in 3 years. Okay? Like, if I'm getting overthrown, like, I'm gonna lay out even though I know that, like, I'm
You're
not
gonna
gonna
really
catch the ball,
prove
because
that
I
you were
want people to
overthrown.
think that I put every single ounce of effort into this
Yeah.
that I can,
You're gonna
and
want to
Jimmy just
show.
overthrew me, and it was Jimmy's fault.
Yep, you're
But
gonna
not
want to
even put your
show.
hands up,
Yeah.
it's like, come on, dude.
Yeah, because then this is what happens, which happens right now, is we're arguing over the no effort. If he dove for the ball, even though he knew he wasn't going to catch it, that effort puts it 100%. So right now we're talking about, instead of talking about this lazy ass receiver, we're talking about this quarterback we paid millions for and can't hit his receivers.
Exactly.
All
Change the narrative
for you
with
having to
your
do
effort.
one thing.
Yep.
Put your hands out in front of you instead of up above you.
Yeah.
Dive.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
can't do anything about it.
Exactly, man. It's just so hard. It's so hard to see. But I mean, you think it's like, in a perfect world, if we weren't dealing with injuries, we'd have Deebo Samuel on the field right now. Our new first round draft pick, Brandon Ayuk, who will play this weekend, which that's a good sign.
Hopefully.
And well, he's been changed from questionable to healthy, so everything's pointing.
I just mean hopefully it's a good sign, like he actually can do.
Yeah, hopefully he's not limited, or there's nothing really sort of.
Because if he's what he should be, they're gonna have to put some shit.
Well, you think about it,
because I think what the biggest concern is the fact that Shanahan even admitted to it that there was no, the game plan was really not the passing game was not really in the game plan from the gate. And we played a team that's not a bad team.
That's also because he wasn't trying to, because he knew what he had at receiver.
Yeah, exactly.
He was confident in his group. And so it's like, okay, we're going to have to do this one without the receivers. So let's dial up 75% of the game on the ground. If we've got to pass, Kittle's going to be our number one option, or you're going to check it to the backs.
Yeah.
If we really need to go on third down, then we got Kendrick Bourne. We know he's a third down machine, all that kind of stuff. But guess what? Arizona knew that too.
Yeah. And that's the killer. Is like, and I'm not trying to knock Arizona. Arizona's a good team, but I truly feel, and as a football fan, not just a 49er fan, we should have beaten Arizona. I mean, look how close we got with the obvious no pass game. So,
dude, you got to remember, they played a pretty flawless game from Arizona's standpoint.
Yeah, they really did.
And we played a terrible game from our standpoint and had multiple opportunities to put
the lead for most of the game too,
or do things right. Yeah. And we still basically lost by 4 points. It's like, so we deserve to lose that game rather than they deserve to win. Yeah, I would say that.
I'm comfortable with that.
But
here's the thing: is there are better teams out there that we're going to play. A lot of them. Of them. So it's not a good start. And the argument, I do feel that the no preseason games does have an effect on this.
It does a little bit.
I think football games are very different than like Cactus League baseball games and things like that. Like that's where you really get your chemistry. You really see what's working, what's not working. So this in many ways is affecting all the teams. I think one of the biggest ones that we really saw it affect was Tom Brady. And we can talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
But still, you've had the time, you knew what you had to work with. And I think that there was enough time for them to realize like they really need to do something at receiver. Like I don't think they needed to wait until now to get Sanu. I think that they could have, picked someone up much earlier than they did. And
But you think
Sanu's
about it,
not
if
going to be
all of
the
our
fix all.
receivers,
He may
if
help.
all of our receivers were healthy, like I said, we'd have our starting three would be Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and Jalen Hurd. And I would be ecstatic with
Yeah.
those three. Because Jalen Hurd, to be honest, I've in the 2 preseason games that he did play last year, he was really the shining star.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it really sort of had you scratching your head like, this guy's going to be better than Debo Samuel at the time because Debo was like, a rookie. And his previous running back background, and then turned into, wide receiver. I mean, just he fits the mold of what Shanahan's going for because they're going for big physical contact guys who can put their shoulder down and run through somebody and get as many yards after contact as possible. They don't want a guy who just catches the ball, covers the ball, and waits to get hit and go down. They want a guy who's going to catch the ball and turn up field and make something else out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all those guys would have done that. And Jalen Hurd would have been the tallest of all three. I think he's at 6'3", 6'4", which he'd be an awesome red zone target. You know what I mean? You could also line him up in the backfield, do all the trickery that Shanahan wants to do, guys going in motion, jet sweeps, options. I mean, like the possibilities would be endless. Having those components in your offense and actually plugged in on the field makes you that much more dangerous because you have so many more options available to you. And now the defense is really going to be like, oh shit, what are we going to do? But when you trot this group out on Sunday with Kendrick Bourne, Richie James Jr., and Trent Taylor, it's like, ain't nobody scared of that.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we'll double George Kittle and we'll let you beat us with those guys and we'll see how that works.
Yeah. I will say that the situation isn't like, oh, we're gonna have a shitty season. We're nowhere near that yet. But the Band-Aid that they had for game 1 obviously didn't work.
No.
I'm hoping that the Sanu Band-Aid will help us get through to some healthier players. Well, what I took away from the game that as a positive for us though is the running game is very strong. It was nice seeing McKinnon out there making some good. He made a few plays.
Yeah, that was a good story. It was great to see him come back from what was like 966 days from his last football game or something like that. I mean, my hat goes off to that guy.
Really
he worked extremely hard. He looks like he hasn't skipped a beat.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
think that's
like,
the big thing is. I think the
it's gonna be fun
more
to watch this year for sure.
Yeah, I think the more game time he gets, the better he'll get, the more comfortable he'll get, which is obvious with every player that has been through a situation like him. But he's just so unique, he really is versatile. And I think that the system is really designed for him to really shine. So I'm definitely going to be watching him closely. As someone I was really excited when we signed him because of, I had him on a couple fantasy teams before when he was with Minnesota, and he had some he had some, when you play fantasy football, you watch certain players with more than you normally would. So McKinnon was a guy that I watched, and it killed me when he was a Viking, because there were just so many games where I'd watch these games and I'd be like, if they'd give this guy the ball, they would have won this fucking game. And it was
they didn't utilize him correctly, like Shanahan would.
And now he's in, and that's what I was getting to, is he's in a system that's really designed for him to really thrive. So I'm really excited to see if he can do that, because I feel like he will be something really special.
Well, I think he lined up in the slot as a receiver, as much as he lined up in the backfield this weekend, which that's exactly what Shanahan wants. He wants that versatile running back to where we don't necessarily need to continuously send in different personnel. I just need to call a different play, and you'll line up where I tell you to, because you're that versatile of a player, and you can do this. You can catch, you can run, and you can make plays in space, which is what we need. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's what makes me excited about this team is there's a few players like that. Kittle's the other one who. The guy is 100% a tight end, and he's 100% a wide receiver. Like you can really utilize him. And I know a lot of people that aren't like big into football that feel like a tight end and wide receiver are almost the same type of player, which they really aren't. How they line up and the design can really, really change and confuse the defense. So, just having those few players that are lining up in different positions and can play that position just as well as a person that's supposed to be that person. it's gonna make it challenging for teams that we go up against. But the factor is health. It's like that with every team every year. It's
Yeah.
nothing new. It's just the
Yeah, no,
injury
you're
bug
gonna
hit us
take
kind
your
of hard at
share
the
of
start this
injuries
year.
for
So
sure, but it really sucks when you're dealing with multiple injuries at the same position,
yeah,
and it's not like you're just down one guy. Okay, well, we got our other two, we're good, things like that. But it's like really like we were out our top 3 wide receivers
yeah,
last week. I mean, that hurts.
yeah,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean? And teams are key on that. And it's like, and it hurts even more when you're seeing their top 3 wide receivers having big days,
Hmm. Yeah.
and it sucks, man. It
It,
really does. But
on the opposite end, um, man, it's fun seeing Hopkins have a quarterback that realizes what he has. That guy is
yeah,
something
yeah,
special, man, and
yeah.
he is going to really be a
He's gonna
explosive
have a
player this
huge
year.
year. If
Yeah,
they keep this pace up, obviously they're gonna have a huge year, or he's
yeah,
gonna have a huge
that
year. And
guy. I
I mean,
mean,
he's only gonna take Kyler Murray's game to the next level too,
yeah,
because just like any good passing game, you need a good running game. And with a running quarterback like Kyler Murray, it's like
yeah,
now you got the best of both worlds. It's like I could drop back and pass, or I could scramble and run, or I could scramble and still throw to the best wide receiver in the game. So it's like
yep.
there's 3 elements right there that I can kill you with. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
that was another part of the game that kind of pissed me off is our defense knows better. Like we let him run all over us like we shouldn't. It should have never happened. It,
Our
it gave me
defense just didn't look
flashbacks
ready.
of
They just didn't look ready, dude.
yeah, it gave me like
Like we weren't getting the
flashbacks.
pressure. We weren't getting the pressure at all.
No,
You
not at all.
know,
It
not like we
literally,
were
dude.
typically used
It
to getting.
it
So
literally gave me flashbacks of like Kaepernick's first few games as a starter, just running all
yeah,
over the place. It's like, how are we letting this guy? Like we of all teams know this type of quarterback better than anyone, and they literally let him run all over them.
but you gotta remember, dude, when you're in this league, like once you hit 4 seconds after that ball is snapped, it is extremely hard to cover a guy.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And
yeah,
it's like the minute the quarterback is getting flushed out of the pocket, and now you're getting in the second 5, 6,
yeah,
7, even 8. It's like, I mean, I don't care who you are at defensive back. I mean, you don't have a chance.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Unless
Yeah, the
unless you get
pressure was
lucky, or you're
horrendous.
or you're holding the guy, or you're doing something. It's
Yeah,
like you allow that much time, and someone like Kyler Murray is going to continue to buy time as he continues to roll out of the pocket and use his legs and continue to look downfield. It's going to hurt you. And that's why I mean, you're seeing Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Cam Newton, Kyler Murray, Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, it's a mobile quarterbacks
yeah,
a world nowadays. Even Josh Allen can use his legs. Aaron Rodgers has been known to scramble and do that. I mean, he's been
yeah.
known more to get outside of the
Rodgers.
pocket and make a play rather than run downfield and actually get rushing yards.
Yeah, yeah.
Speaking of rushing yards, I've got a bone to pick. Did you see this? Ben Roethlisberger has more rushing yards than Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, that was funny, man. Dude,
Like
I feel like the Giants and the Browns are like cursed, dude.
like Ben Roethlisberger is like what does he run the 40 in, like 7.4? You know what I
Let's just
mean?
talk
Like
about like look at him. Like he
yeah,
literally up until this year, because he lost a lot of weight this year, actually looks really good. Up
yeah.
until this year, he literally looked like a fucking chicken. He was just
Oh,
this
yeah.
big girthy upper half and then these little tiny legs. He's always been like that. Like he's got these little dinky legs. And you're telling me that you have more rushing yards than who's supposed to be one of, if not the best running backs in the league? But that is 110% on the Giants, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Barkley is one of those players that they don't come around that often.
Well,
And they
Ben
are
Roethlisberger is a guy who like he's 38 years old. Okay?
okay.
10 years ago, I thought he was 38 years old.
Yeah.
Okay? So it's
Yeah.
like I thought this guy's been on the verge of retirement every year for 10 years.
Well, he
know?
looks like it. But I mean,
Yeah,
this year
exactly. I mean, he's always
looks
looked like a
good.
guy, and he's got, he's battled injuries and whatnot too. I've always thought that like, okay, this is it for Big Ben, and it's like it keeps coming back. mean, he's a pocket quarterback. It is what it is. Call a square a square.
Yeah.
And there's only a few of those guys left. Him, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers largely. But I mean, the game is evolving and it's changing because it's like you want as many Swiss Army knives as you can. You want as many weapons, but you want those weapons to be able to do so many different things rather than the stereotypical traditional quarterback who sits in the pocket and, can be able to throw.
Yeah.
Phillip Rivers is another one of those guys who's a pocket passer, things like that. So it's crazy, man. It's like as soon as these guys retire, I think 5 years down the line, you're going to see a league where there are 32 teams with 32 essentially mobile quarterbacks.
Oh, I believe it, man. I mean, we're over half. I feel like we're halfway, if not over halfway there already.
And Jimmy Garoppolo is definitely a pocket passer now, especially after the knee injury. It's like before the knee injury, I'm sure he had the confidence and the ability to continue to run and scramble. And I'm sure he could still do it. I mean, he showed a couple times this weekend, but he's 95% I'm a pocket passer first.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you think like what do you think Kyle Shanahan could do with a quarterback like Kyler Murray or Deshaun Watson? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, think about that. So it's like, I honestly think as much as we all like Jimmy, if things don't go well this year, it's like there's an easy out.
Yeah.
Or you have the ability to bring somebody in or draft somebody or do something,
I was never really super high on Jimmy with the signing. Just I get it, and I'm not anti Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't want it to sound like that, but I feel like we jumped the gun.
No, I don't feel like that at all. I don't feel like that at all. I feel like we got a really good deal at a time where we didn't have anything going for us.
Yeah, I haven't seen what I want to see from a quarterback on our team.
Dude, a lot of people say that, but
I know he doesn't have the tools.
You gotta look at the numbers last year.
Yeah,
I mean, like we had a great season last year. He was like in the top 5 in quarterbacks in terms of production and ratings and things like that. It's like he's just not a sexy name because he hasn't been doing it for as long as some of the others that have been in that same category. And it's like he definitely fits the system, and it was working, evidenced by production of last year. We got to the Super Bowl. You don't get to a Super Bowl with a mediocre guy. You just don't. Okay?
Nah, that's debatable. But
well, I mean, Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl, so yes, it's debatable. But at the same, so did Joe Flacco. But I mean, it all comes with a good defense.
Dude, Joe Flacco is going to go down in history as the greatest fucking scam
the
of all
funny
time.
thing is that they both won Super Bowls with the Baltimore Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
So
the only difference is Flacco got fucking paid.
But that's even more evidence of those guys fit the system with the same coach, and you know what I mean. So it's just like Shanahan can do it. The system is there for Jimmy or whoever else steps in. I think can do it. Now you got to remember, you got Jimmy at a time where you were running with Brian Hoyer, so it's like it was a good move. It only cost you a 2nd round pick. And when you did re-up him, he was only the highest paid guy for about 15 days. Okay. Yeah. And now he's like the, 76th highest paid guy. Yeah. I don't know. That's exaggerating, but you get my point.
Yeah.
And so it's like we still got him at a good deal. The way the Niners are doing these contracts with Parag Marathe, it's like this dude is a contract genius to where they're so incentive based, and there's so many ripcords and outs to where it's like, yeah, he's locked up for 3 more years, but we could easily cut him at the end of this year. Yeah. Easily get out of this, move on to somebody else. So yeah. I mean, the possibilities are endless. I'm not closing the book on Jimmy. I like him.
No, I want to clarify that I want to see good from him. I just feel that overall that we could do better if he doesn't start showing up now.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you also can't fault him too much about what happened in just week 1. Okay, we've only been through 1 week. We also don't want to overreact after 1 week, but you're not playing with a full deck. You're not playing with your the starting receivers that you've built chemistry with. Or it's like, yeah, you got to deal with some other guys. It's like it's hard. It's really hard. But the other thing you got to remember is Jimmy he's not a very externally facing character who really loves the media or the spotlight or this or that. He's a good locker room guy. He's a good team guy. Everybody loves Jimmy. They want to fight for
Yeah.
Jimmy. Like that says
That's
a lot
important.
too,
Yeah.
and
It's
that's
important.
really important for a team to rally around a guy like that who's your leader, your quarterback. Like, this is the guy that's going to lead us in battle when, we're down by 6 with 30 seconds to go. It's like, that's the guy you want to fight for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I mean, we got 15 more of these. I think, like I said, I also kind of think this is a humbling loss for the Niners. I mean, you start 8-0 last year, and and people and you get to the Super Bowl, and people are already looking at this year's schedule a month ago, getting you at 6-0 already before your first loss, and it's like sometimes it's good to get this one out of the way. I remember when the Warriors first signed Kevin Durant. The season before that, they started the season 23-0, and then they signed Kevin Durant, and everyone's like, "Oh, well, geez, they're not going to lose a game now. Like, they're going to go, 40-0 before they lose a game." They lost the first game.
Yeah.
It was the greatest thing that ever happened to him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True.
It's like it was the humbling loss that said, like, even though you guys got this, like you can still be, humbled, and you're human, and it's still any given Sunday. That still applies,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, I think we're far from done. I mean, we play the Jets this week, which is should be in our favor.
Yeah.
So, but we just the Band-Aid's got to be a little stronger until the receivers are at 100% or up to speed in Sanu's case.
No, but I mean, think about it. Like, we get Brandon Ayuk, we get Mohamed Sanu in there, and maybe Kendrick Bourne, Trent Taylor. Like, that's an upgrade. I mean, you got two guys that you didn't have last week. That I like my chances way better than I do last week.
Yeah, true. I just wanted to say let's touch on a couple other things outside of just the Niners.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Really weird seeing Cam Newton in a Patriots jersey. Really weird seeing Tom Brady in a Buccaneers jersey. So many moves at quarterback that were just so unique. I'm mad that we didn't get to see Alex Smith, but my hopes are not broken.
I hope we will at some point.
I think we will.
I hope we will at least see him active
at the end of the season.
On the sidelines, even as a backup. I mean, he was inactive this week. Like, he wasn't even dressed, which usually you do to, like, your third string guy, or people like that you don't necessarily believe in. So it's like, I hope that, like, maybe they don't think he's a starter, but I hope that they they think a little bit more highly of him down the line. But
yeah, and I just want to see him in a live game take one snap. I think he's earned that. Like, I mean, if he takes even that one live snap
formation at the end, just take me.
You know what? I'll count it.
Yeah, for sure.
I just talk about, like, literally probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, comebacks of all time. Like, if you Google, we've seen it, but, like, to our listeners, if you Google the picture of his leg after they had cut out all the infected areas, the fact that it's his real leg is a mystery on its own, let alone the fact that he's suited up and can go into a game at any time. It's just like, if you look at that picture, it just makes you respect the guy more than ever before.
I mean, if you watch that special, I mean, it's just, it brings it to another level.
Yeah, like, this is going to go down as absolutely one of the greatest comebacks of sports history.
Oh, I know, for sure.
So out of all the changes, what was the weirdest one to me, dude? I still can't wrap my head around it, and I don't know why. I'm not a fan, per se, but seeing Phillip Rivers in a jersey that doesn't have a lightning bolt on the side of his helmet just looked weird to me, dude. I kept looking at it like, this is weird. It's just not right.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, but it's great to see him still playing. I like those quarterbacks like him, the vets that have been around that are
they're not ready to hang it up, and
but he's still going. I mean, he's still doing decent.
For sure.
The other thing I personally like to see, just because it's like another story similar to Alex Smith, is Bridgewater starting.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just fun to see. Like Bridgewater, he had the potential of greatness, and he still has a potential to be good.
Well, he's another one that battled through some serious injuries and
Serious
finally got a
injuries.
second shot last year when Drew Brees went out to prove himself.
Yeah.
And that, like, if Drew Brees didn't get hurt last year and he didn't win 5 games for the Saints, like, he might not have found himself another starting role. I mean,
Yeah.
it's those opportunities that gives you a second opportunity, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And so,
Um,
but like, going back to what you put the Cam Newton thing real quick,
yeah.
I think, everyone's always like, "Oh, what's Belichick gonna do?" It's like, Belichick's gonna be fine, and now you get Cam Newton, and it's just like everyone's like, "Oh, the Patriots do this, they do this, and they do this." Yeah, they've been doing that for 20 years because they've had Tom Brady, but now they got Cam Newton.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, I think that you're gonna see a whole different side of the Patriots, and I
Yeah,
think
you
Cam
kind of have
Newton is
to.
gonna
It already
embrace it.
showed. It already showed with the two rushing touchdowns. Like
Well
it.
well, what you saw at the tail end of his tenure with, Carolina, and I mean, like, the last 2 to 3 years there,
Mhm.
is they were not calling run plays, or you can tell that they didn't want Cam to run the ball
Mhm.
much, you know? And right out the gate, it's like New England's like, "Ah, our quarterback can run, and
Yeah.
so we're gonna run him," you know?
Yeah, that's one thing that the Patriots have always done, and it is largely credit to Belichick is and you've seen it over the years, especially with their running backs. They've never had like a. There's been those few years, but they've never had that big name running
Never,
back, and their running
never.
backs have done phenomenal things because he is the best at utilizing that one skill set that person has. You
Yeah,
know, so in this scenario, you have Cam Newton that can throw and it can equally run. He's going to
oh, yeah,
utilize that. He's not going to
oh,
care about the fear of this or the fear of that because and this is what makes Belichick as good as he is, because damn well it was like this with Tom Brady. Luckily, we just never had to see it. The Patriot way is 110% the next man up.
oh,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
so how Belichick's mind works, coming from someone that doesn't know the guy, but just from what I've seen, he's going to use you to your absolute abilities, and then if something happens, next man up, then he'll make the adjustments he needs to utilize that person for those abilities. So right now, he has a quarterback that can throw and can run. He's going to utilize those abilities.
right, right.
And
It's
whatever happens,
rather than
you know,
okay, this is who you are as advertised. Like, I'm gonna ask you to do exactly what you're advertising, versus,
mhm,
okay, I don't want you to do that because you might get hurt. I want you to try this, even though, like, you're not known for this at all. But I want you to try it
yeah.
because I think you're talented enough to do it. It's like, why are we asking people to do things that that's not what made them
Mhm.
who they are? You know?
A perfect example of this, I know you'll remember this, is Dion Lewis. Dion Lewis had a couple years with the Patriots. He was utilized in a certain way as a running back. The
Hmm.
dude exploded,
Oh
literally.
yeah.
And then he had some injuries, and next man up, right?
Yep.
Dion Lewis. Then I think he went on to Tennessee and kind
Yep.
of did some stuff, but was nothing like
Had like
the
one more good year and that was it.
yeah. But it's because they utilized him in that pass rush combo that he excelled at. He was very fast. He was able to escape out of behind the
Yeah.
line in a
The
very
way they use James
mysterious
White
way where he
nowadays.
couldn't find him, and then all of a sudden he's just standing there in the middle of the field wide open. And
Yeah.
Tom Brady and Belichick utilized that with Dion Lewis to the point where it made Dion Lewis just like and this is not Tom Brady gets the credit for this a lot, which he should get a portion of it, but Belichick has a lot to do with it too, where um they made certain players look way better than they truly were. They did it. Tom Brady had a lot to do with it with the wide receivers. Belichick had a lot to do with it with the defensive players, the running backs, offensive line players, and of course he has a hand in it all.
Oh yeah,
Um,
for sure.
but the brain is and always has been Belichick. That's been known. And I'm not taking anything away from Tom Brady. Tom Brady is the goat. You know the Montana fans will fight that to the bitter end, but you look on paper, Brady's the goat. Did he
Yeah.
have a fantastic coach and team to get him to that point. Yeah, but he did it himself too. So
Yeah.
it was interesting to see how poorly he played on with the Broncos, the Bucks in the first game. But that I heavily weigh that
Couple
on,
big mistakes,
but they're mistakes that are out of character for him.
not
But he's had
necessarily out
them.
of character. I mean, he's had those
Yeah,
games in
he
New
has.
England.
It's rare, and I honestly, dude, I'm a Tom Brady fan. I have no shame in admitting that. I fault this as the no preseason games. This guy's not going to
Yeah.
have a terrible year. The people that think
No,
that are
these are the things that
they're gonna
motivate guys
regret it.
like Tom Brady to just come back even stronger and
Yeah,
to right the ship and not do this again.
yeah. Like
So
it was interesting to see. But if anyone's going to bounce back, and I'm you better believe I'm going to watch the entire game this week because he's going to come back pissed because that's what he does. He has these games where he does shit. Remember the what was it, the season? I think, God, this is probably pushing 4 years ago. He started off those first three games were shit and everyone was calling for his retirement, and then the rest of the season he just wrecked everyone and they won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Like, that's what he does. That's why he is who he is. But let's talk about my favorite part of the week. I'm just going to read off some names. Okay. Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry. How does this team suck so bad? This team is literally almost an all-star team, and they are the worst team.
Here's the thing. You could put Tom Brady. You can put Christian McCaffrey. You can put Devontae Adams, Julio Jones on that team, but because they're in a Browns uniform, they're gonna fucking lose. They're gonna find a way to screw it up. Like, it's just the way it is.
Dude, if you look at all the teams, there is very few teams that have player names like that. The other teams that have player names like that are gonna be Super Bowl contenders. This team,
I feel like the biggest problem with all of those names is Baker Mayfield.
I agree.
I think there was way too much hype on this kid coming in. Yeah. I think he's a good personality. I just don't think he's that great of a football player, to be honest.
I 110% agree. But at the same time, he has the tools around him to make him better than average.
Which is also another case to be like, if you can't get it done, you aren't the guy.
Yeah. And here more so than ever, because this team, after this year, I believe, you'd probably know this better than me, but I'm pretty sure after this year, they're going to run into some contract issues with some of these big names. Like, it's now or never for the Browns, really. And it's already,
third year, so he would have at least one more year on his rookie deal. And then they'd have a 5th-year option for them to pick it up. So you're going to see Baker Mayfield in a Browns uniform next year. But, depending on how badly they do or where they place, they could draft another quarterback, and it doesn't necessarily mean he'll be the starter. He could be the backup. You look at Mitch Trubisky. He fucking got the start, and he actually won.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know, in this first week they played a great team. Like, Baltimore is no joke. This team's has one of the highest chances of being in the Super Bowl this year. But they got straight destroyed.
Right.
And the biggest thing about it, did you watch the game? Did you watch any of it?
I didn't watch the game, no.
I watched the game. Baltimore by no means was being chill, but Baltimore was not playing like Baltimore plays. They were cruise control. They knew where they were at. They knew what they had. They knew what they needed to do. They did not grind. They destroyed. They literally destroyed the Browns. The Browns. Okay, let me rewind. The Browns destroyed themselves. They really did. It completely imploded, and Baltimore just took advantage of it, and they didn't have to really do much. But that's the thing that's so amazing to me is how badly they imploded with the players they have. It was a high school football team, dude. It was ugly to watch. I literally was just like, I watched it because I was like, yo, this might be the year that the Browns finally figure it out. And I think it was 5 minutes into the game, you're just like, nope, not even close. Nope, they're not even they might not even break 500. I would have thought that
I would have thought Odell Beckham Jr. would have been a little bit more happy with the Browns' performance just because they shitted on themselves so bad.
Well, he was smiling, so that was I think that was the takeaway of the week of the
Yeah,
opening
I think that
football
puts it in
week
the
was
distraction in
yeah.
Cleveland all week.
I'll say
It's like,
this, dude. I don't believe that whole thing
no,
in the
no.
slightest. It's like, did you watch the girls?
Yeah, I think there's just a
I'm
lot of girls who
very
want to get it. They're trying to build a podcast or
yeah. I'm
attention or whatever.
I'm
It's like,
very respectful of women. Okay, these have got to be three of the most haggard women I've ever listened to in my entire life. They are just spewing whatever they can think of out of their mouth to get the wow factor that they obviously got from this. And even in the slight chance it is true, it's still like these are just 100% clout chasers. Like they had
I mean, my
the
thing is like,
podcast apparently the podcast before was one of them bragging about how they blew like 8
yeah,
players on some team at the same time or something. Like they're just
right.
their goal is just to be as outlandish as possible.
But
And I mean
because
it's
they're saying
working.
that stuff, they're making money off it, whether it's true or not. So it's like, oh,
Yeah.
we made money off it. Why should we stop now? Let's keep
Yeah,
going.
yeah.
It's
So
like,
and the way Odell kind of reacted to it makes me feel like it's got like he had a
no.
laugh about it, and that was really it.
I mean, you got to remember, dude. It's like if I'm one of the best, you know, athletes in the game,
Yeah,
one of the top paid at my position or whatnot. Do you really think that I'm gonna like surround myself with the type of people who are known to do this kind of thing,
yeah.
or have the
Well, that's the
potential to do
big
this kind of thing?
thing.
No, I'm gonna seek out better individuals
Yeah,
who there's more potential for actual things with, rather than just like, it's like if you really just want to get a hookup, like you are who you are, you can just go down to like your local bar, and I'm sure somebody will come home with you.
yeah,
You don't need to go find a famous groupie,
yeah.
to go do
Well,
that
on
with.
top of that, I might be wrong here, but isn't Odell like in some long ass term relationship with?
I don't know. I don't follow it that
Yeah, I
closely.
feel like I thought that was the case. I could be
Could
wrong
be,
there, but
could be. Maybe he's not
I know.
anymore.
Well, I know he's dating someone now, but I could be wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else. But regardless, it's just comical. Um, but yeah, it sure did add for some entertainment. And I mean, it sure does help that he's on a team that's called the Browns and are
Yeah,
quite possibly
yeah.
the worst team in the league. Like just the memes, man, they just kept
Oh,
rolling. It was
and they won't
comical.
stop for a while.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like
I mean, you
this is
could.
one of those seasons where it's like you kind of really wish there were fans in the stands, because it's like
Oh gosh,
every
dude,
place you would
the
go, like, oh, they
signs.
just get
Yeah,
roasted and all that
yeah,
stuff. It's like that really benefits like people like him in this case. When
yeah,
you've got any sort of negative publicity out there, and you don't have to deal with it on a weekly basis with like the thousands of
yeah,
fans that you're faced with, it's like it really benefits the athlete in this point.
yeah, yeah. But
But
I can't have such a hard time wrapping my head around this team, dude. Like, it legitimately is the first time in my life I've looked at a team and I've honestly, in my heart, felt this team is legitimately cursed. And I know
yeah,
we have our good old,
they are.
Boston Red Sox and Chicago Cubs and things, but this is just different because those teams, they never had the stacked team. This team on paper, dude, is one of, if not the most stacked team in the NFL, and they are a legitimate dumpster fire. And
Oh,
it's just like it's hard not to to go along for the ride. It's just so entertaining to see. Like
oh, for sure.
their top two receivers are guys that have been together since college. Like they
Yeah,
went to college together. They are
yeah.
in sync more than any other receivers in the league. And there are two top end receivers. Jarvis Landry has always been underrated to me.
No,
And
they're
then Odell
great.
Beckham, we all know him. Like, and then I mean Austin Hooper
Oh,
as your
yeah,
tight end, and then Nick Chubb with the backup being or second in line being
right.
Kareem
Kareem
Hunt,
Hunt
who besides being a scumbag is
was your third
phenomenal.
down option to catch the ball.
Like
It's like,
how do you not just like sneeze behind the line of scrimmage and accidentally throw a touchdown every
because
single
the
time?
organization is so bad, they don't know how to hire the right people to
Yeah,
put
I mean,
these people in
just
position to succeed, you know?
I know I feel in my heart half of, if not all, the coaches in the rest of the league are looking at that team and going, "God damn, if I had that team, this would be a cakewalk to the Super Bowl." And
Oh,
here they
yeah.
are, just They're going to be the laughing stock of the league again.
No, I had Jarvis Landry on one of my fantasy teams last year, and I got him again on the same team this year, in part because, I mean, he had a way better year last year than Odell did,
Yeah.
and I feel like he's poised to have that again, in part because Odell brings the stigma and the mystique with his name to where he's the, you know, looked at as the number one receiver and always doubled or getting the most attention. So of course Jarvis Landry is going to be open, and he could
Yeah.
be number one on half the teams in the league.
Yeah. The
Easily.
dude is good, man. He was great in
So
Miami. He's another one of those players that just has fallen victim to bad circumstances his entire career. He's
yeah,
never had that real good quarterback that if he had, he would be I truly feel Landry has always had the potential to be a top 10 receiver in the league. He's just never had that quarterback to throw to him. I mean, Tannehill had his moments, and when Tannehill had those moments, guess who also had those moments? Landry.
mhm, mhm,
It just was
mhm.
never consistent enough for Landry to really stand out as, yo, this guy's legit.
Yeah, yeah,
And now it's to the point where he may never get that. I mean, he's been in the league for a while now.
yeah. No, that's for sure.
So I don't know. I love the Browns, dude. They're just such a they add entertainment. That's for sure.
What do you think of the Rams' new unis, dude?
Um, you guys were chatting about it, and I didn't want to chime in because I don't know. I think I like the uniform. I'm not a fan of the helmet.
So I really, really like, the thing I don't like at all is I don't like the LA logo with like
Yeah,
the little ram thing in the LA.
I'm
And I
not
and I
I'm not
really
for
hate
or
the, like,
against it.
I really hate the little ram logo that they have at the 50-yard line too, because to me it just looks like a baby goat with
I
curlier,
was
like,
looking at that and I was like, that's not right.
with, like,
I
curlier horns. It looks like a fucking baby
I
goat. It's like,
I
it doesn't look
think
like a ram.
yeah, I get you. So the LA logo, I get where you're coming from with it. It doesn't it's not the worst, but I think they could have done better. I think the
Yeah,
problem with the actual uniforms is the helmet on its own is okay. The uniform on its own is okay. They just don't flow well together. You had this whole gray, kind of
yeah, I
like
don't know what this is
smooth,
gray.
kind of futuristic, clean looking uniform that looked really nice, and then all of a sudden, blam! This big ass freaking huge horn on the side of a bright blue helmet. It's like if you're looking, it's like you take a camera from like the feet up, right? And it's like clean,
Yeah.
clean, clean, clean. Bam! What the hell is that? It's like
Yeah, I do like the blue. I think the blue got a little bit, it's a different blue than they had before. It's like
yeah,
a little bit more metallic, a little more royal. It's like way more Dodger blue, and I don't know if that's because they're in LA now. They want to be
yeah.
more like, be more resemblant of that.
Well,
But
they're obviously the favorite team.
I mean, it's just
So
that fucking that Ram logo at the 50-yard line like really bothers me.
yeah,
It's like it just looks so much like a baby goat that like you're in a focus group like around a conference room and like nobody said that.
yeah,
Like everyone thought this was amazing. Like,
yeah,
come on, people. It's like think about it. Like if it looked that much like a baby goat, like let's put the rest of the body there, like almost like the charging ram to really let people know this is a ram. Like, because it's not the logo that's going to be on the helmet, or it's not the logo that's going to be on that. It's
yeah,
just another logo,
yeah,
because it's not like they have the little, the face of the ram on the side of the helmet. It's still just the horn.
yeah,
So it's like we don't necessarily. It's like it's just we could put the whole freaking animal here if we want to. It's not like we're putting it on the helmet,
yeah,
And like I think it would have looked way better as like a charging ram in the 50-yard line,
yeah.
you know. But
I think I'm looking at the logo right now, and I see. I think the problem with the logo, I actually really like the A and how the horn comes out of the A. I feel like the L just really looks out of place.
yeah,
I think that's the problem. Like, I mean, obviously you can't do it, but if it was the A alone, it's actually a pretty dope logo. The L is just like, I think it's, you know what it is? And this is just from my personal experience with like Photoshop and stuff. I feel like the drop shadow on the L makes it look like it's so far away from the rest of the logo.
yeah,
Like it just looks like it's like a foot above. Like if it's like you're looking down on it on a desk, right? It
Yeah.
almost looks like the L is at your eye level, and then the A is like on a piece of paper. You know,
Yeah, but
the
you see like
distance.
do you see like the old, like even like the 2017 Ram,
Yeah,
the actual like animal Ram? Do you see how it's even more meaner and
yeah,
fiercer and like as it's charging at you?
yeah,
It's like this other one, like just like I said, it looks like a fucking baby goat.
yeah. It's just very. It's they went simple, but they went a little too simple. Is the problem?
But the other thing about the LA logo that like it's always like bothered me, it's like if you just look at the LA with the thing coming out of the A, it's like if I never told you that that was the Rams, like somebody could mistake that for the Chargers easily.
Yeah. No, it does
Yeah.
it does have that kind of lightning bolt type theme. Let's talk about the real underlining issue here is the team doesn't belong in LA. The team belongs
No,
in St. Louis.
no.
That's
Well, I mean, they were in LA before they were in St. Louis.
I know, but
So if anybody belongs in LA between them and the Chargers, they do.
yeah,
And there's still
but
a
I
lot of
feel like
Rams
their
fans in
home
LA.
I feel like how they left St. Louis was not the right way.
No.
I just feel like the
The
team
Raiders should
belongs in
be in
St.
LA.
Louis.
The Rams should be in St. Louis, and the Chargers, I don't know, you guys can go wherever the hell you want.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter,
Did you hear the conversation about Oakland?
I did, man. Yeah, that's
I like
exciting.
that. I
Yeah.
like that. I think it was it you
So
that commented. I read it before it was posted in our fantasy chat. But was it you
yeah,
that
I put
mentioned the fact that like it wasn't shot down right away makes it a real big reality, which I think is
yeah,
very true.
usually proposals like this that get floated to the league, with interest groups that want to acquire a team or bring a team to a market or anything like that. Um, Usually no matter how much money is backing it, there usually isn't a lot of traction.
Yeah,
The leagues usually isn't really interested in going through a lot of that, what it takes to relocate a team or anything like that. But um, this group happens to be a minority group of all, majority of black individuals who want to see a team that they want the team to be black owned, which I think is
yeah,
amazing. Um, and what better of a place to do it in a place like Oakland
yeah.
to represent a
No,
community that's
it's
largely black?
100% a perfect scenario, and I think a lot of things that people tend to forget about, or maybe not forget, but don't know. The Raiders left Oakland not because of ticket sales or anything like that. Is because the city and the owner couldn't figure it out. The Oakland Raider fans, I honestly think, from my experience, have to be the most diehard fans of all teams. Like
Yeah,
their
yeah.
team has been shit for decades. Outside of those couple, good years, those fans are in that stadium every single week. Like
No, yeah, and
it
if
has
you've ever
nothing to do
talked
with
to
the
a Raider
fan
fan,
base.
like,
Yeah,
a Raider fan is, you say a different kind of fan, and
it is.
that's a fan who really, really, like, is like you say die hard, like usually a Raider fan is a die hard fan,
Yeah.
you know?
They're just
And
different, man. They're just a
yeah, it's a
different
different culture. It
breed.
brings a
Yeah.
different type of
Um,
flavor
I have
to it.
not been to many football games. I've been to one Raider game. I've been to a
Me too.
couple Niner games at the Stick. I have not been to a Niner game or the new stadium. I will say from my personal experience from those games, the Raider game, the atmosphere, and this is coming from Candlestick, which had its
Yeah,
own
yeah,
amazing atmosphere.
right.
That Raider game atmosphere, man,
Yeah, it
blew
was
the Niner
unmatched
games
for
out of
sure.
the water, man.
It was
That
unmatched.
those fans are just like it. Honestly, like I'm a Niner fan. I'm not one of those Niner fans. Like I joke around with my Raider buddies, but it literally broke my heart when it was official that they were leaving. Just because the friends that I have that are Raider fans are those they're still Raider fans. Like for me, like I'm the type of person. If the Niners left San Francisco, I'd be like, "F you." I'm gonna be a Seattle fan since I live in Portland. Like, no, that's a traitor moment. Not a
Yeah.
single Raider fan I know is like, no, F that. I'm gonna be a Niner fan. Every
I
single
know one.
Raider fan I know is now a Las Vegas Raider fan. That's like
So
how committed they are to that team. It's just really interesting.
Well, but there's a lot of people. I mean, they lost a lot of folks.
Yeah.
They
Oh
did
yeah.
lose folks, and that's primarily because of the way this whole move went down.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fans that blame the ownership for like the reason why they moved anyway. Like, really, you couldn't figure this out. You really couldn't figure this out here in Oakland. Like, it's
Yeah.
your fault that you're
Yeah.
moving. It's like,
Well, I'm one
and
of
they're
those
they're
people. I feel
bitter
like it
and
really
it's
was.
their faith in the team, and they want to follow someone else. But
Yeah.
but going back to rather than getting on why the Raiders
Yeah.
moved
Yeah.
anything, going back to the possibility of another team in Oakland. Um, so just to fill in a little bit more on the story of the article, uh, like I said, there's a lot of people saying that like usually when these proposals come in, like they're quick to get shot down. Usually it's just some billionaire coming in who wants another investment,
Yeah.
or something like that. And there's really got to be some more substance behind it. And this has that substance at a time in our society
Yeah. It
where
checks the boxes.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of social justice issues going on, and there's a lot of you know discussion around equality and wanting things for minority groups and wanting um, you know there are no black owners right now in the NFL, and so this would
Mm.
give a team black ownership group, and so they presented this in three different ways to the league, basically saying we want to get this done and we'll do it in any of these three ways that you see acceptable. One of those ways is basically just an investment group of all minorities, black individuals who can pony up the dollars to get this done. And there's about a 30% franchise fee to get this done, just to get the team to relocate, and that's
Hmm.
about $1 billion. So that would have to happen, and the league likes money, so they will entertain that.
Yeah.
The other way to do it is you can't just this can't be an expansion team. This has to be the purchase of a team.
Yeah.
Because right now there's an even number of teams in every division. So if they were going to expand, they'd have to expand 8 teams. They can't just do one.
Yeah.
They're not going to do that.
No.
So this
No. I
has to
think
be
the
the
NFL
purchase.
is done with teams for a very long time.
Yeah, this has to be the purchase and relocation of a team. And in my point of view, there's really only 2 candidates that come to mind
Hmm.
for purchase and relocation. And one of those is the Washington football team. I feel like the league is very had it with Dan Snyder and doesn't really want him around much more.
Yeah.
And so this could be uh, the foot in the door that gets him pushed out,
Hmm.
you know? And so there's a possibility to purchase that team and relocate them. I kind of don't see that happening, only because I don't see Washington DC's team getting relocated, being
Yeah. I
that it's
think
the
that's
capital of
the,
our country.
yeah. And that's the thing that I agree with you about.
So
Especially
the
with the
other
whole name thing right now. Like they have a real big opportunity to, support the whole,
yeah,
the movement right now, and by renaming this team and it being the team that is the face of the nation's capital, it just doesn't seem likely. I agree with you with the ownership side, but I feel like there's too much potential for this being like, hey, look what the capital of the United States team did,
yeah,
to
yeah,
support racial
right.
injustice. They removed a racial slur on its own of a team name. I just feel like there's too much good with that already. Um, I'm curious to see who your other team is.
So if you remember, I think it was about 2 years ago, there was a report surfaced that the Carolina Panthers might be for sale.
Yeah.
And Diddy kind of stepped in. I'll buy it. Steph Curry being that's
Yeah.
where he's from. He's a Panthers fan. I'll buy it. I'll invest. So you already at that point there was already the discussion of we need black ownership. Like that's when Diddy and Steph Curry stepped up and they wanted a piece of the pie, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that that was already rumored to have come on the market means that there's still a possibility that that could be on the market. And what better team name to have in Oakland than the Panthers? And you can have
Yeah.
the Black Panthers in Oakland. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
That would be
And
pretty
and
pretty
and it would be
special.
owned by black people and in a very, in a community that would just like
Dude,
totally just like love that, you
you know what
know?
would be awesome? I mean, it's not. I don't think it's possible because of the Raiders. But if that was the case, but they kept the Raider colors, like
Right.
how cool would that be to have the Oakland Panthers, but with the Raider color scheme? Like that would just everything would tie in so. That would be
Right, yeah.
sick.
I
That'd
know
be
it's
so
it's
sick.
it's a shame that the Raiders didn't like change their name when they
Yeah,
moved in like
yeah.
colors, because then they would have been able to either
I mean, I guess
keep
it's
the
not
Raiders in the
entirely
color,
off the table because
but
there are teams out there that have
so
very
many black teams.
similar color
So many
palettes.
black teams in color uniform is what I mean. Like
Yeah,
you got the Ravens, who wear black, the Saints wear black.
yeah.
You've got
I mean, I guess they could even essentially keep the same colors as the Panthers, just go with that, black being the more dominant
go
color.
heavier with black with like the teal trim
Yeah,
and stuff like that versus
that'd be
like
so dope.
wearing a lot of that stuff, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be so sick, and it would be nice. And the third option for ownership would be the Green Bay Packers model, which is a publicly owned team.
yeah.
So I don't know if you knew that,
I
but the
did know
Green Bay
that. I
Packers
don't know the details. But I did know that they're technically a publicly owned team. Yeah,
The Green Bay Packers is a publicly owned team, like a corporation is
yeah,
traded on the stock market, and they've got a board of directors and an
yeah,
executive board that makes decisions. Not one selective owner who
yeah.
does anything like that. It comes to a board. So, and that model, I think would be very uh it's a very collaborative model that I think in a place like Oakland would really go over really well, because it would give so many more voices at the table and so many more opportunities to have more individuals, specifically more minority group individuals with a seat at the table, and to highlight that so much more,
Hmm.
you know, rather than just giving it to one individual or a small group of 2 or 3 or 4 really rich investors, you know?
Yeah,
So I hope it kinda goes that Green Bay model,
yeah.
just for that reason,
Well, it seems
but,
to work with Green Bay too.
we'll see.
Green Bay's been a pretty solid team for many, many years. That model's been around for a little while too, right?
Oh, it's been forever for the Green Bay.
Has it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought they had an owner. Okay.
Oh, they might have been. Maybe I'm wrong, but, it's my understanding that it's been around like that for forever, but
Yeah,
I could be
I'm
wrong.
not. I mean, you would know more than me. I just thought for some reason they had an owner,
Yeah.
and then they switched to that.
Maybe somebody will actually put something in the comments and help us out on that one.
Yeah,
We'll see.
yeah, that would be nice. I'm
Yeah.
also thinking my thought is the Chargers, because the Chargers are not doing well in LA. I know that they've, we'll just see. That LA
Yeah, but
stadium, dude, I didn't know that thing was $5 billion.
oh, yeah.
That's ridiculous, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's supposed to be one of the most
In year one, they sold a
big
whapping
stadiums.
0 tickets.
They can't.
I
Them
know.
and Oakland,
Bad timing.
or not Oakland, sorry, Las Vegas.
Yeah,
Them
yeah.
and the Raiders, brand new stadiums, and you can't even begin to repay the bill.
I know.
Yeah,
Man, $5 billion.
that's what hurts.
The second closest one is like 1.6 billion.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy, man.
Let's switch gears here because we're getting at that 2-hour mark, but I feel like we have some gaming updates that are important to just I can drill through real fast.
Yeah, rattle them off, dude.
So the big thing, I guess, I don't even know really if it's the big thing, but the last piece of the puzzle has fallen into place. Ninja has officially signed a deal with back home with Twitch. He's been on the grind. So that is the big three that were floating about for a while. Ninja's finally signed, and that's that. So and it's just kind of fun. I haven't been watching his streams too much because he doesn't really play games too much that I like to watch. But I've checked him out a little bit here and there. It's just it's just good to see these guys back in the areas that they thrive in. And they especially Ninja, out of them all, he's the one that really helped blow up the streaming thing. I think a lot of people don't know this. Ninja was the one that made the move to Mixer and signed that first exclusive deal. That opened the door to all these exclusive deals for all these other guys. I
Yeah.
mean, I could go down the list, dude. Nick Merckx,
That was
Summit
Seattle.
1G, Tim the
Yeah.
Tap Man. You know, I'm talking. There's dozens. All these guys signed these exclusive deals because Twitch got scared because they lost Ninja, and then a week later, 2 weeks later, they lost Shroud to Mixer. So they just started signing. So what Ninja did, like Ninja gets a lot of shit for this. Tim the Tapman explained it perfectly, and I want to reiterate what he said because it was brilliant what he said. But Ninja gets so much hate of being called a sellout for going to Mixer and stuff. But what he did really like helped so many other people by giving them these exclusive deals, you know. So when he re-signed with Twitch, a lot of people were like, "Oh, never, you know, he's a sellout. I'll never watch Ninja again." And Tim the Tapman, which is funny coming from him because Tim is known as like kind of the dumbass, you know. I feel like he's really smart. He kind of feeds into it a little bit. It's part of his character.
He embraces it for sure.
Yeah. I mean, he does do some dumb shit sometimes, but it's all fun and games. But he's done these things where he's kind of broke it down in a simple way for, you know, the simpler minds to understand. And it's brilliant. So this is, you know, 100% credit to Tim the Tapman on this, but this is how he explained it, and I just love it. It's like, you call Ninja sellout, but how did he sell out? So basically, let's put it this way. Again, this is from Tim himself. You work at McDonald's, right? You work at McDonald's minimum wage. Dude comes up to you and says, "Hey, I'm going to pay you $10 million to do the exact same job, but you're going to do it for Burger King." You're telling me you're going to be like, "Nah, man, McDonald's for life." You're going to sign. You're going to go work for Burger King and pocket that $10 million.
Hell yeah.
Like that's he didn't sell out in any way. He did what he was doing, just moved to a different platform.
Yep.
So I just like the way he explained it. It just like puts that light bulb in your head. Like, yeah,
he's absolutely right.
it didn't affect anybody but himself.
Don't think twice. Make the move. You know.
Yeah. So it's like for you, same thing. You know.
Yeah.
You're telling me you work for this city. Someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, I'm going to pay you to do the exact same job. I'm going to, on top of that, give you $10 million. You're just going to work for this city." You're not going to do that? No, this city for life, right? For me, same thing. I work for this pharmaceutical company. Hey, I'm going to pay you $10 million to do the exact same job, but for this pharmaceutical company. I'm out. You know, like it's common sense. So he's not a sellout. Those people are just idiots and they don't think that way. But yeah, so he's back.
That's awesome, dude.
Little quick Dr. Disrespect news that's kind of interesting. And I really want to see the outcome of this. So there's a tournament, a Call of Duty tournament a couple weeks ago. The way they do these tournaments, it's really confusing to me because it's teams of 2, but they team up on the same team of 4, and then they split off and they do kills. It's really weird, right? But Dr. Disrespect got put on a team with another YouTube. He picked his partner, which was another YouTube streamer. And at one point in time, actually twice in the tournament, his other half of his team were Twitch streamers. One of them is Nadeshot, very well known character in the streaming and gaming community. He's the owner of 100 Thieves. And Nadeshot streamed, had Dr. Disrespect's voice on his stream, and didn't get banned. So that was the big scare was because there's a rule in Twitch's terms of service where if a banned player from the platform or streamer from the platform shows up on your stream, then you'll get banned.
Yeah.
Nadeshot, and there's another popular streamer, or not really popular streamer, but more popular competitive player, but he streams as well. Both of these guys had Dr. Disrespect on their stream. They did not mute him. They let him talk. They had carried on conversations with him throughout the whole tournament. They have not gotten banned. The reason that's interesting is there's a little bit smaller of a streamer. His name's Mtash. He's one I kind of go back and forth. He's really funny. Sometimes I feel like he whines a little bit. He was just banned, 7-day ban, and all Twitch told him is, and he doesn't even know, I guess, all the details because that's what Twitch likes to do. But he was apparently told that he was banned because he streamed with a banned streamer. they didn't tell him who that person was. I don't know. I guess he just tweeted out something that he figured it all out. He's going to talk about it tomorrow or something. But it's just interesting, and it kind of makes you wonder until we get more details on the MTash ban with him streaming with a banned streamer from the platform. Just kind of right now, it's looking pretty ugly again, where it's Twitch playing favoritism to the bigger streamers, like they're known to do in the past. But at the same time, the nade shot ban may just be taking a little longer for whatever reason. We don't know. It's been over a week now, so I feel like the time has passed. We're to the point where he won't get banned. There's a guy named Hector. He's big into the esports environment and things like that. He's very well known. I believe I forget if he's an organization owner or part owner or something, but he's a big time guy. And he brought up a very valid point. With Dr. Disrespect, how can you ban someone for having him on your stream when you won't, as a company, won't even provide to the public the reason for Dr. Disrespect's ban? Yeah. It's a good point. It's like, so that might play into it, where it's like Twitch is like, you know what, this is a special situation. We're not going to ban people that play with him on our platform because we haven't made it public to why he was banned in the first place. It's really a good argument. It has a lot of weight behind it, which I think is fair. If I streamed with Dr. Disrespect and I got banned, I'd be like, well, how can you ban me when you won't even tell us why you banned him? I think that's a very valid argument. Exactly. I think it really is. So I don't know. I just wanted to
really make the playing field very equal though either. So that's the hard part.
Yeah. So I just wanted to kind of call that out. Just kind of fascinating how here we have these guys that are playing with Dr. Disrespect. They took the risk. There's been no backlash for it yet. And then here we have a smaller streamer that apparently streamed at some point with a banned person who they won't even tell him who it is. And he's now been banned for 7 days. Which is unique in its own because this has happened in the past, and in the past, people that have streamed with banned streamers have been banned for 3 days. So that's the other thing, is why is MTash is 7 days, not 3 days. So we'll probably find more out when MTash decides to give that. But just interesting, and it just shows that Twitch really does not have a handle on how they hand out their punishments, and it's something that it's starting to really become the forefront and is a really bad look for them. It's something I think personally they need to really figure it out now. So that's that on the streamer side. The gaming side, this week and last week combined, major news. We have our new NVIDIA graphics cards that came out or that are coming out, but they've been announced. I'm not going to go into too detail because it's really kind of complicated if you don't know this stuff, and we're more of a general overview of gaming. But what I will say is it's a huge jump in processing and quality and things like that. So I'll break it down really fast and easy. Last year was, so NVIDIA, they come out every 2 years, they come out with their new GPUs. Usually it's around 2 years. They go by the 100. So it was, 10 years ago or whatever, it was the 800 series, 900 series, 1000 series, 2000 series. Now this is the 3000 series. So 2 years ago, 2000 series came out. The flagship card was the 2080 Ti. It sold for $1,200, okay, which was a huge spike in cost from normal. The reason for that is because it was a new design. I forget all the technical terms right now. I'm getting tired, but basically it was like a new kind of technology, right? The flagship this year is the 3080. And it is tracking right now from all the tests that are coming up, the benchmarks that are coming out today, at a 75 to 90% increase in processing power and things like that. And it is the price on it is $700.
That's awesome.
So it's almost half the price. And if you look at it, people are actually kind of doing that wrong because you have to look at it price by price. So it should really be compared to the 2080 because the 2080 was charged at $700. So if you compare the 3080 to the 2080, it's coming in at 90% faster at zero price difference. So it's a huge leap. It's really good. I'm already getting ready to pre-order my new toy. So that was just some big news on that side. And then we got all our official new console information. So the Xbox Series X, that price tag is $500. They're also dropping a Series S, which is much small. It's a really small thing. It's also discless, so there's no more discs on this one. It's kind of pointed towards the fan base of the Xbox that doesn't have that capability of paying $500. So it's coming at $300. Still a great device. The big pitch on the Series X is they're pitching that it can stream or it can play games at 4K, 120 frames per second. The Series S is 1440p at 120 frames per second, so half the 4K quality, which to be honest is really good. I can run everything at 4K on my computer. I play on a 27-inch monitor. I have no interest in 4K whatsoever. It just makes shit so small. But for the more casual gamers that a console is really good for, that sit and play on, a 55, 65-inch TV, that 4K at 120 frames per second is going to be really nice. And then today we had PlayStation drop their info. So they have their new PlayStation 5 that's also at the $500 mark. And then they went with a discless version at $400. The difference is that the two Xbox ones, they're different prices, but they are also different quality parts within the systems. The PlayStations, they're the exact same. The only difference is one is discless. So that's why it's $100 cheaper. So if you're someone that's already gone fully digital or are planning on doing that, probably worth saving the $100 and going for the $400 version. So that's the big things in gaming. A lot kind of just broke it down real fast. But yeah, so this holiday season, we've got the new consoles, new generation of consoles, both from PlayStation and Xbox. And then your PC guy like me, the new graphics cards. And then actually AMD, I believe in the next couple days or week, I got so much coming out. They're going to announce their new graphics cards as well. So NVIDIA will have some competition. Most likely they'll be a little behind like usual. But a lot of the times, the nice thing about AMD is their graphics cards kind of hit the people that have a smaller budget. So you can still get a good quality card, just not have to pay, $700. So
yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, so there are other cards. I just kind of broke down the 3080, but there's also the 3090, which is like the big super card, the 3070, which the 3070 is actually impressive because the 3070 right now is showing to be slightly better than the 2080 Ti, which sells for $1,200. The 3070, which is basically taking the place of the 2080 Ti, is coming in at $500. So it's a $700 savings for basically the same quality card. So that's going to be the big seller probably is the 3070. But that's it. Just wanted to break that down since we kind of been talking about gaming here and there. And, so we're at the streaming world. The big three that were free agents have all landed in their respective homes. And then a lot of fun toys coming out for the holiday season.
Nice, man. I got one more quick update in my world. We got a new pro skater, dude. His name is Leandre Sanders. He goes up by Skategoat on Instagram. And if you've never heard of this guy, you must. This is like the definition of a pure fluid skater. Now, you know who Mike Valley is?
Yeah.
Mike Valley is an original skater. He's been on Jackass and even that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Valley said it the best, where he's like, he's like, me and Rodney Mullen were designing this board one time in the 90s, and we were designing, that's when the popsicle shape, they call it the popsicle shape, which is like complete twin, where it looks the same. It's not like a shaped board like I have behind me where it's kind of square. It's like completely round on both sides. And that board was designed for people to ride both directions, goofy, regular, do whatever you want to do, ride switch. It was before you had to choose a stance. Well, this guy is just that. Like, he doesn't even know if he's goofy or regular.
That's awesome.
Like he can bust any trick from any stance of side of the board, direction of the board, whatever, can do it. It's funny because you watch videos of them and everyone's trying to get him to say, like, are you goofy or are you regular? and they're always like he'll always be asked the question, "So are you goofy?" And he'll be like, or they'll be like, "Are you goofy or regular?" And his answer will be, "Yes." You know, and it's just like he's just it's just that crazy. And like there's so many YouTube videos of him doing like one crazy trick, like going hella high in the air, doing a 360 flip, and doing whatever and landing it. And then he'll do the exact same trick, but from the other stance.
Yeah.
And it's just like you're just like, what? Like usually there's like you can do 90% of the things on your dominant stance, and about small bag of tricks
Yeah.
from like your what they call your fakie stance, right?
Yeah.
But this guy
So
is just like, it doesn't matter, you
so
know.
who's his style resemble?
Uh, I don't know, man. It's just so pure. Like he doesn't escape like contests or anything like that. Like he's just a park skater, street skater. Like he'll do whatever. He just flows so much. I mean, he reminds me. I mean, not as many manuals, but he reminds me a lot of Day One Song.
Okay.
In the sense where he's just so pure and so fluid and so consistent all the time. You know,
Hmm.
I mean, Day One Song is heavily into the manuals and whatnot, but not so much that. But the guy is just. I mean, it's like if you from everything you know about skateboarding and in this industry, like if you looked it up in the dictionary, skateboarding, like you would see this guy's picture. Like he embodies the culture, he embodies like the feeling, the happiness, just everything. It's when people say like, oh, it's a vibe, like this guy is a vibe. Like
Yeah.
it is that
Hmm.
cool. And it's like I say it's a pro skater because a new pro skater because it's like guys get sponsored. That doesn't mean you're a pro.
Yeah.
It means you're getting free boards. It means you're getting free wheels. It means you're getting free trucks. You're only pro when you get your name on a board. Like there's a name on that board. That's Andy Anderson's board. But
Yeah.
like, it's like go get yourself Leandre Sanders' his board. He rides for Bright Skateboards, BRYTE, Bright Skateboards. And even his board has like a little goat on it because he's a scapegoat, and it's got the goat like chewing like a street sign of like that doesn't know which direction to go. And one street says goofy and one street says
Oh,
regular,
that's
and
awesome.
he just decided to eat it instead of go which one of the
So he's
directions.
feeding into that. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta look him up. He's a good follow. I mean, he's an entertaining follow with all the videos he puts out. I mean, it's just it's so I'm so excited for him. He's one of my favorite skaters to watch right now, and it's just like I hope that skateboarding continues to progress in this direction where it's almost like non-binary, right? Like when you think of genders, it's like, oh, I don't want to claim I'm male or female. I don't know, It's like I don't want to claim goofy or regular. I just want to skate,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just really cool. Go check them out
Nice. I'm gonna check him out right now.
for sure. All right, man. I think that's a wrap. Episode 14 in the books. Make sure you guys follow us on all the platforms that you download your audio podcasts on: Google, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher. Comment, like, share, subscribe. You know the drill. Let's
Yes.
get it done.
Yes. And be safe. Be safe. It's wild out there,
Yeah.
especially on the West Coast right now. But all over, we got the hurricanes down, in Florida again.
Yeah.
I feel like if you move to Florida, you've got to be a special person. But
Yeah.
in all seriousness, just be safe, and we'll see you in the next one.
All right, guys.
Peace.